Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Live from the Apocalypse.
Hello.
Uh,
Hello.
this is the this is the channel where we play tabletop games for charitable causes in aid organizations. And I forget to turn my monitor off. There we go. Uh, we do that. We do play the tabletop games to benefit aid organizations and nonprofits and great organizations like that. So everything we make off of this stream goes right back into those very good causes that are worth supporting. And as such, if you like what you see here, you should feel free. We would love it if you would give them your money instead of us. So if at any point you like what you see here, you can hit !PP donate in the chat. Yes, it is funny. Yes, it is also the real link, and the bot will post the donation link. You can click on that. You can give them money. Give them money, not us, because they will do far better things with it, and they deserve it. All of that being said, this is Nephilim. This is the game where we fight capitalism in space. We don't really fight capitalism so much as we strive to survive it.
It turns
But
out
these
capitalism got hands.
I do got hands.
sad but true. But that is the goal of the good crew of the Nephilim. They are just trying to make it out here in a bad
Cold,
capitalist
unfeeling world.
galaxy. Yeah. Cold, unfeeling world. Terrible place. So we are obviously down a person tonight. Jen is at a wedding for some reason, and so we will make do with just the three of us. But that works. That makes sense. So when last we left our intrepid heroes here, they had finally arrived on Tranquility, which in the time period when our game Nephilim is set, Tranquility is the moon. The moon has been colonized by the elite, the wealthy and the elite of the Earth, and they mostly exist in sort of a closed sort of homeostasis, removed from the rest of the solar system, living in a land of scientific achievement and privilege that the rest of the solar system does not benefit from. But they received an offer to come here and have a conversation with a scientist. And that scientist, upon their arrival, introduced himself to Jaxper and said, I don't really know how to lead with this, but I'm the closest thing to a father you have. And that's pretty much exactly where we left off. But all of that being said, why don't we introduce the characters a little bit, introduce our cast of characters? Since we just mentioned Jaxper, Deli, you want to go first?
Sure. Jaxper is to look at him, he's kind of a big, muscly, kind of goofy looking 19 to early 20-year-old. He is actually probably closer to like his mid 70s, due to the nanite treatments that he was given. At the moment, he is slightly dying, as the excessive nanites in his system kind of eat him alive. This is handy because I, his player, currently have a really bad cold, so I too feel like I'm dying. I have the man flu.
That's just extreme role play.
It's extreme roleplay. I timed this.
You just take it very seriously.
I take it so seriously.
Yeah. And then the most recent addition to our crew is Paget. Julie, you want to describe Paget?
Sure. Paget is kind of a stereotypical kind of street criminal, dressed kind of plainly in that it wouldn't draw immediate attention if you saw her, but also like just not put together enough to know that something has been stolen here. She 150% lied her way onto this ship, saying that she could
Just like
fly
everybody
it,
else.
even though she had never flown before. And so she's really just here for the thrill of it at this point. She has no stakes in this game, despite this game having lots of stakes. Here for a good time.
This game is known for its stakes. Speaking of which, Ellis Maldonado.
Mine are
Wanna
all
talk about your
stakes.
stakes?
Ellis has
Yeah.
got all stakes. It's all stakes. Ellis is the oldest member of the crew, I guess, and also the oldest member of the crew. Who I did not lie his way on. Ellis is a space Texan, who's a former anti-unionist turned unionist, former crime mob idiot turned anti-crime mob idiot, who still does a good bit of the crime. And I think is the most focused on finding our former captain, mostly so I can stop having responsibilities. Because they chafe. So Ellis is sick of trying to help take care of everybody, given he's really only good at two things, and that's fighting and drinking. So yeah.
Yeah. You're also, very good at being a surrogate father figure.
I was gonna say
as
team
we've
dad.
Good
discovered
at.
over
Good at
over
is
the
an
course of
interesting
this.
interpretation.
Well,
Dad.
you're good at doing it.
Yeah, that's fair. It seems to happen a
You're-
lot, so I'm really
yeah.
good at making it a part.
Right. You're good at being there when it happens, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
following through.
And then saying,
Um,
okay.
Yeah, but speaking of dads, uh, when we ended the last session, it was in the automated driving vehicle that Professor Haywood had sent for you, or rather had met you all in. Ivan Hayworth, Dr. Ivan Hayworth, had met you all upon your arrival on Tranquility. He had actually cleared you for landing, which is kind of a big deal. It's not the easiest thing in the world to make port on Tranquility. And so, yeah, you got out of your ship and you sort of found yourself in this very beautiful, idyllic outdoor scene where the sun was shining and there were grassy fields all around you. And that illusion was sort of quickly shattered. Not that you ever really believed it when other doors around the outside of this park started to slide open and other people would enter from those doors. Hello, Theo.
Hi, Theo.
Our guest star. And yeah, so you would see other people entering from where their ships were docked, and quickly realized this is all sort of an illusion, sort of a holographic dome. But Dr. Hayworth was not an illusion. Dr. Hayworth was very real and solid. A man, you estimate him to be in his 60s. He has a full head of snowy white hair and a sort of closely shaved snow white beard. Seems to be in excellent physical health. On the taller side of things, and very well dressed in a sort of a very angular style that is very much in fashion here on Tranquility, based on people you have seen. And upon following him to this shiny and chrome vehicle that vaguely resembles the cars that you're used to seeing back in San Antonio. Cars in this future, this near future, largely resemble cars today, except they've been modified with these self-driving units that are sort of just these like little boxy computers where a driver's seat would be. But this machine is very different. This machine resembles a car only in the loosest sense. It's much sleeker. If you had to assign it a resemblance to anything, it would actually probably come closer to looking like bullet trains that you may have seen pictures of from Earth's past, except obviously very very small and self-contained, but that same sort of very extremely sleek and aerodynamic design, and the inside of which resembles the inside of a limousine more than anything else. Two rows of seats facing each other. No sign of any driving unit, no sign of seat belts or anything like that. Just very rich leather, and yeah, very very comfortable as you all pile in. And yeah, Hayworth sat across from you, Jaxper, and sort of stuttered out a conversation while the rest of you sat there. Sort of stuttered out a conversation where he told you that he, a long time ago, was sort of the progenitor who's on the forefront of nanotechnology and their research. And he actually mentioned to you that the corporations that birthed you and your fellows, Stedman Zhang and Crucible Medical Technologies. Yeah, Crucible Medical Technologies. He had worked with
yeah,
them.
just
had
fucking
fun.
grip it, rip it, baby. Slop that down, dude. Shit,
So,
dude, crack one for the big boy.
Sorry, I stopped talking because we got a donation. Thanks, Mom. Thanks for your
Yay!
donation.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you so
Will's
much.
mom.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. I know I don't sound excited, but I promise you I am excited. And thank you so much. We're all a little. I think we're all a little low energy today. I hiked 12 miles yesterday, which was a mistake, and I'm in a lot of pain. Della's sick. I don't know how the rest of you are feeling exactly, but this is gonna be more laid back than it usually is.
I don't know what you want me to say. To any of this. Like you're responsible for this. We are actually related genetically. They used your genetic material to make me. What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
Jaxper,
I guess
I've spent a very long time looking for you, just specifically just to have this conversation. I didn't know. I didn't know how it would go, or how you would react, or whether you'd be excited or angry or despise me. I never made it this far in my imagination. And well, it wouldn't be fair of me to expect anything. After all, genetics, blood has very little to do with family.
I'd agree with that.
So I don't expect all of that to say I don't expect a response or an answer or anything right now. It's a lot to take in. I understand that, and I promised you that I would help you, and that is my main goal in inviting you here is to help you.
I think there's a couple things that you might be able to help us out with. So we've we've actually been collecting problems for the past couple of months.
I have seen and heard some of your um, adventures,
Yeah, I spent
shall we
like
say.
30 years being really on the down low, and then in the past like 3 months everything fucking exploded.
I can only imagine what it's been like for you, what it's been like for all of you, and I apologize to the two of you, the three of you. I didn't mean to be rude, but my name, as I introduced myself before, is Dr. Ivan Hayworth, and as long as you are my guest here on Tranquility, you have nothing to fear. I promise you that.
All right. That's
Right. Well, that's nice. I appreciate it.
sure. Hmm.
Seems like half the people we meet want to kill us, so you know.
I'm new. I don't know.
Well, this happens a lot. We get this all the time.
I
I-
assume.
Particularly old
Most-
friends of Jax. It seems like nobody wants him to be
Whoa.
alive anymore. I don't
I
know
mean,
what it is.
Hey, whoa, it's
Like,
not
I
my
kind of-
old friends. You shot our
I was gonna
first
say-
client in the gut, you dummy.
I kind of assumed.
That
I mean,
was
I
racism.
watched those fights on TV. That's why I'm here. Like, I figured some of this would happen.
We only met, oh god, what was his number? 100 and fucking something? I don't know how many of us they fucking made. Pissed off about that. Apparently there's an assembly line that's been going on. We like straight nuked him though, didn't we? 138, right?
You did. That was the one that with the unit that you met on the Caduceus.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, the Crucible ship that you robbed.
Yeah.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Yeah,
That we
um,
shotgunned to
I-
death. Yeah.
you did in front of Maeve.
Yes.
Yes.
Pat's like, he's before my time, but sure.
Uh,
I have no reason
And,
to doubt you.
as you're pulling out, Hayworth just sort of like sits back and listens to you all sort of banter amongst yourselves. His expression changes in a very obvious and open sort of way. He does not seem to be okay.
You
All right, all
blipped
Sorry.
and it
right.
blipped us.
You all blipped on my end. Yeah, my connection is a little bit all over the place, and I don't know why. Like the bit rate has been a little bit up and down, but it's fine. It was only for a second.
So his expression, you got as
Yes.
far as his expression changes in a very open fashion.
Yeah, he looks horrified when you say something horrifying, and he looks amused when you say something funny. And sometimes those two things overlap, but he is fairly content to just let you talk. But at a certain point, he sits up for a second and says, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I believe we will be leaving. I believe we will be departing Tranquillitatis any moment now. And he sort of
what's Tranquillitatis?
I'm sorry, the city that you all arrived in, the sort of the Tranquility's visitor center, if you will, the part of the moon that outsiders are permitted to reside in and visit openly without getting permission. Vehicle opacity at 30%, please. And the sort of outside of the car-like vehicle that you all are riding in goes fairly transparent, and you can sort of see as you enter. You sort of look out and you see this. You're in sort of a tube. A tunnel would be more accurate, but beyond the outside of your vehicle, it's completely see-through. It's completely open, and it is massive. This sort of tunnel that you find yourself in, this tube or whatever you want to call it, is enormous, and you see that you are surrounded by other vehicles very similar to this one, slightly varied in markings and generation, it looks like, but all very similar. You're used to seeing a lot of variety on Earth and even out in space when it comes to ships and cars and things like that. There are certain tells and certain design specifics that let you know, oh, that was made by this company, that was made by this company. You can recognize those things. All of these vehicles, even though they appear slightly different from one another in different ways, could very easily be identical. They all look very much the same as one another. But beyond the tunnel itself, you see space, you see stars and the vast emptiness. And the light that allows you to see all of these things is just sort of in a single row up on the top of the. If you look straight up, you can see that there are just a series of lights on the top of this tunnel as you sort of zoom along this highway. That's the other thing that strikes you as it goes transparent, is this vehicle is moving incredibly fast. In fact, everything around you is moving incredibly fast. And the amount of automation to make this safe is staggering and a little bit terrifying to you. But Hayworth, as you sort of take all this in and see it, Hayworth says, I didn't want you to miss your first time seeing things from our perspective.
So just like the fastest high-speed rail that's ever existed, basically.
Yeah, except it is a highway of cars. Like, you're not on rails. Things are just like, moving in and out, letting other people pass, things like that. Like, it is very much like highway driving, but all automated. You don't see anybody crashing. You don't see anybody in a dangerous situation. It's almost like a dance, very elegant, but happening very quickly and a little bit terrifying, and in a way that looks like it is under sort of the open sky. Yes, but he says, my home. Well, I reside outside of Cognitum, and we should be there before too much longer. It's the other side of tranquility, but we're quite fast, as you can see.
Zippy little thing.
Yeah, this is pretty sweet.
How?
Yeah, travel across the surface of tranquility was deemed a priority by the early founders. So much time is wasted in travel. They deemed it inefficient and something to be corrected as quickly as possible.
You have hacking issues with your automated system.
Yeah, I mean, how do you keep all this safe? It seems like it'd be pretty easy to throw a gumball in the middle of.
Like, literally, you could just throw a gumball into the middle.
Yeah,
of
like
it.
actually a gumball.
Yeah, like actually just a wrench.
Yeah, a real wrench. Yeah.
The systems account for any debris or obstacle faster than the human mind is capable of comprehending. And as far as any hacking is concerned, these systems are the most well protected in the entire solar system. Anyone who would be capable of hacking a Tranquility system already resides here on Tranquility.
I should probably tell you that, Elliot, at some point.
I
Yeah,
suppose
that
yes. That
seems fair.
I will take your word for it. Um, Tranquility, by virtue of being such a closed environment, uh, while it may seem a bit paranoid and stifling to outsiders, well, it's how we maintain our way of life. You have very little to fear in your everyday life here on Tranquility. And for better or worse, the peacekeepers see to that.
All right.
I would like, um, as you sort of like are traveling along this super fast highway, making your way to Cognitum, as he said. I'm gonna say that you are a little bit. Most of you are a little bit distracted, but Paget, being new to this group, I think you're sort of very invested in sort of looking around and checking things out. So I'm gonna say that you actually notice Maeve, Maeve not looking so hot. She's sort of seated directly across from you, we'll say. And you sort of see her, and she's sort of like nodding and like blinking a little bit intensely every so often. She seems almost a little unsteady.
Paget will kind of like reach out, like she'll do that thing where it's like you stretch your legs out across the opening and like kind of pin one of her feet between my 2 feet, try to get her attention, and be like, "Hey, are
Um,
you motion sick? Do you need a bag or something? Are you okay there?"
you do that, and she like looks down at your feet where you've sort of like touched hers, and then she looks back up at you, and her eyes like focus on you for a second, and then cross slightly, and she sort of just pitches forward.
I'm gonna try to catch her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can absolutely catch her. Um, the rest of you see this happens. Hayworth, exclaims loudly, and also, jumps forward to try to help you. Maeve is, pretty much of a size with you, I would imagine. So, you catching her is not impossible, but a little bit difficult. But you have everybody helping you, and you sort of like get her back up in this seat. She does not appear to be conscious.
Is she breathing?
And she is breathing. And Hayworth immediately starts like checking her vitals, and he pulls out a pad, a data pad of some kind from inside of his expensive jacket, and starts scanning her, checking information that's being displayed on the screen, and says, I don't. Do you know what this? Do you know what this is,
No.
or
What's your track order over there?
I mean,
reading out?
she's been kind of a little bit sick ever since I got here, but like she didn't seem worried about it to
it's
me.
telling me very little about her. I don't see a reason. She seems fine. Has she mentioned anything? Has she been through anything recently?
So funny story about that is that we may have had a minor altercation with the what are they called again? What are the order of monks in
Shinchoku?
Oh,
Shin-
Shinshoku.
with the Shinshoku on the orbital platforms, and they may have killed her as a way to try to keep things secret, and I may have used some of my nanites to bring her back to life, and I can't find them in her system anymore. So I thought they were flushed out, but she may be having a bad reaction to that.
I'm sorry, did you say Maeve died?
Fully died.
Yeah, so Maeve died. Yeah, that happened.
Poisoned.
Thank you for asking, Paget. That was going to be my question as well.
Yeah, she got better though. So
Did she?
Well,
yes.
she's breathing now.
Like, whole
Yes, in the
ass
most-
died.
A whole ass died.
Yeah, like
fully,
whole ass.
fully. She was fully dead. I was not okay with that.
And she's been
made it so that it was not happening anymore.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Jaxper kind of reversed the rules of death for a bit there. It was existentially frightening.
You can just do that?
There's
People
not a
can
whole
just
lot
do
of
that?
just. There's not a whole lot of just about it. It was really hard.
Alright, whatever. We're gonna...
and she's been normal. She's been the same ever since. I mean, I would expect some sort of brain damage at the very least. Partial paralysis, maybe.
Everything we've been able to find, every time we've hooked her up to some kind of reader, it says she's fine. The only thing I can think of is that because I have been interacting with a whole bunch of other foreign nanites, not just other foreign nanites from the program, but Shinshoku nanites, that they adapted and did something weird with her. But I fully understand that that could just be me thinking that I'm like the center of the universe again, and it could just be that she's like got a fucked up space flu. People get fucked up space flus sometimes.
We have seen some fucked up space.
You know?
That's fair.
But no, she was not passing out like this before the
That's new.
poisoning and subsequent reanimation.
Yeah, this
I
is...
see.
Yeah, for the whole 3 days that I've known her, this is new.
From my vast
All
experience.
right.
My vast 3 days of experience.
Well, driver, we'll need to accelerate. And then as an afterthought, he says, opacity to 100, and the walls go dark again. And he says, I can't watch when it's accelerating, and trust me, you'll thank me.
Oh yeah, that's real pukey, huh?
Quite so.
Speaking of pukey, are there like bags in case she gets sick? Because she doesn't look good.
No, the unit will clean itself once it comes to a complete stop. But I think for the time being, we will need to make her more comfortable. Everybody should move to one side. We should lay her out. I'll see what I can find under the seats. He ducks down into a crouch on the opposite end from the bench style seat where he indicated for you to lay Maeve out, Jaxper. And he sort of like starts. He sort of like touches his finger to the panel underneath, and like different parts of it start to slide open, and you can see different things inside of each one. And he does eventually pull out a very unmarked steel or aluminum, you're not really sure, beverage container of some kind. And he hands it to you, Jaxper, and says, "This is cold. Just try to make sure that her temperature stays low."
Okay.
Until we arrive. You take it. It is just a very cold metal canister.
Is it? I assume when I open it, it's just like water or.
Yeah, it is just water.
Cool. Yeah, I'll try to. If she's able to sip, if she's able to swallow, I will do that. If she's not, then I'll just sort of like use it to keep her forehead and such like cool.
Okay. She was able to drink a little bit. You do pour some into her mouth, and you are able to get her to swallow it. The canister does sort of like help to keep her cool, but she, is very restless. She is moving around a lot, and she, at a certain point, starts talking very quietly, and she very weakly sort of starts like scratching at her arms, and just saying very quietly, it burns.
Well, I don't like that. It's freaking me out. So I'm gonna see if there's something I can do about that.
Sure. You want to scope it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's my character, doodad?
You can roll with calculating. Ellis, what are you doing while this excitement is happening?
I think it's mostly panic. I've already almost watched this young lady die once, so I think it's a very ineffectual, high-key anxiety. Like if it were a possibility, someone would be telling him to go boil towels or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're sort of like hovering and kind of generally,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're sort of like hovering and generally kind of like being in the way, he will Hayward will tell you to start, opening cabinets and see if there's anything that you can use. It's mostly like you find like.
Yeah, I'll trash everything and organize it in very neat piles on the floor in front of him.
Yeah, mostly you find like snacks and exactly things like that. Yeah. Okay, so you got an 8. Do you add anything to that, Del?
Yeah, it's a 10. It's actually a 10.
Oh, it's a 10. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you get to ask 3 questions if you have 3 questions.
Yeah. What the hell? First question. And second question. How make stop?
How make stop?
Extremely good questions. Okay, cool. So
what happened? How make stop?
What happened? How make stop? Good questions.
Those are my questions. And I'm saying it like that because I realized I did not have the moves sheet up here. But yeah. So yeah, what?
Yeah.
What is happening?
No, that's totally reasonable. Yeah, so what is happening? I mean, you can feel her, and as you touch her, by which I mean that you can feel it happening as you like touch her forehead. She's getting hot. She is getting actively hotter.
Okay. Okay. How can I make this stop? So I guess better question.
Yeah.
What is it that is causing her temperature to rise?
Right. And I think that is, yeah. I think that is the frustrating part of all of this is that again, like all of the medical scans that you've done before, you don't find a cause, and that is more frustrating than anything else. How are you are you going through databases in your head to try to figure out what it might be? Are you going to are you actively like trying to scan her? Are you trying to send nanites into her? What's your...
Yeah, I was trying to avoid that second one, so I am mostly just going through my own sort of library of medical training, emergency medicine stuff. So I imagine in my that I'm like, okay, I need to keep her cool. I need to keep everything cool. So like packing more
And like ice. Or is it just these chilled beverages?
Just the chilled beverages. There's definitely no like ice maker. There's no actual ice, but you do find plenty of refrigerated canisters that you can use. You can kind of pack around her. I'll tell you what, Jaxper, you used one of your scope it out holds somewhere in the like somewhere in the far removed recesses of your medical database as you're kind of like going through symptoms that she's displaying and things that you have records of from various cultures and computer systems and things like that. You do find you get a hit, for lack of a better term, and it's very weird and esoteric, but this very specific combination of not detecting as anything being wrong, coupled with the fever and some of the other symptoms that she's been displaying for a while now, the hallucinations and the like dizzy spells and things like that. It matches some of the accounts of the Takamagaharan settlers on Mars who were in the process of establishing a colony when the Earth Coalition dropped a terraforming bomb on the surface of the planet, which kicked off World War III. Yeah, it matches some of the symptoms, but you'd know this, you'd all know this because it's one of the major historical events of this setting. But the Earth Coalition created this basically this payload of designer organisms and like micro drones specifically designed to slowly change the layout of Mars and make it habitable. And when they delivered this payload to the surface of the planet, they did not know that there were, at the time, Takamagaharan settlers living there. These design organisms, thinking that they were part of the native landscape, basically wiped them out. And as a direct result of that, even though the Earth Coalition claimed they didn't know that these settlers were there, the Takamagahara did not believe them, basically.
I think
I don't think we even went anywhere that had any.
but she was poisoned by a Taka agent.
It's true.
Is that what the Shinshoku might have used to try to poison her? Or... God, I wish we still had it.
I'm sorry. Are you telling me that she is Martian?
Yes.
Yes.
That's news to me too, buddy.
Not native.
Yes. She's native Martian.
Yeah.
At her age?
Yeah.
As far as I know, why?
She would have been one of the first children ever born on Mars.
Yeah, I think she's number 1 or 2, if we remember correct.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's pretty impressive.
It's only
Yeah, the Delaney's
it's
there
only a
already.
It's only a hypothesis, but if she wasn't inoculated when she was a child, she may have had some sort of natural immunity. She may not have required inoculation. They wouldn't have administered it unless she was showing symptoms. And if that's the case, then her body may be full of organisms and bacteria and everything that the coalition sent to change the very being of the planet. There's no way to know how they would react to nanites, or nanites would react to finding them. And
So wait, you're saying that the nanomachines that were already inside of Maeve possibly are now having a reaction to the ones that Jaxper used?
anything that is inside of her biology as a result of her being born on the surface of Mars would be organic in nature, but it might not be attacking her the same way that it would attack a person non-native to Mars, because, well, she was born there. She may have always had them inside of her. But if the nanites detect foreign bodies, and if the foreign bodies detect nanites, there's no way to say, I mean, this is a 1,000,000 to 1 odds that this exact person would find themselves torn between these two internal forces.
Well, that kind of checks out. I mean, she also did, die and come back, so.
So we've got to somehow figure out how to prevent this Terraflu from fucking her up.
I do like that we've embraced Terraflu. That was a very good suggestion.
Yeah, it's a
Thank you
good
so
one.
much.
Yeah, TD Pod. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciated that one.
Yeah,
Terraflu's canon. Yes, I will have to run more tests to be sure of anything, and I should have equipment that can, at the very least, we can put her in some type of stasis so that hopefully her body stops killing itself.
Yeah. I mean, my buddies are probably going to get really pissed off with me if I do, but if there's anything I can do to help, I might be able to get my nanites to fucking stop whatever the fuck it is they're doing, unless they've decided to reiterate in some stupid ass way. Stupid ass nanites.
Stupid ass nanites.
Padgett's just gonna
Stupid
kind of
ass
lean over
nanite.
to Alice, because in the 3 days that I've been on here, the nanite conversation never actually happened. So she just kind of
right.
she just leans
Jaxper is
over and she's
actually
just
like a robot boy.
Mhm.
Think Astro Boy, but more Evangelion.
Okay. Is this why
I
he
have
was
never
extra
farted
emo?
a rocket.
But is this
in
why
my
he was
life.
extra emo bench pressing? Is that what that's about?
No, that's just teenage hormones. I mean, the nanites
Okay.
help, but or don't hurt. I don't know. The bench pressing that's testosterone, the regular
Okay.
kind.
That's
I
not
don't think it's nano rosterone or anything.
okay.
Yeah,
I can hear
Nostrum.
you.
So
I know you can hear me. Was that a what?
No,
So-
you're telling the truth. It's just hurtful.
That's
So,
not hurtful. That's
just-
accurate. I'm even being kind about it. I'm not saying anything rude.
Shit.
So she's Martian.
It's been raining this whole time, and I just looked out the window and saw that the sunroof on one of my cars was open.
Oh no.
You
Do you need to
You need to run out there?
I'm
move?
gonna go handle that real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Oh
Oh
Why don't we
boy.
take 5, everybody? Thanks for hanging
Oh
out.
boy.
we're doing
you
it in
guys don't
real
have
time.
to. Jaxper can be. Jaxper can like go and consult
Sunroof,
with his
go.
friends. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
go
we'll
do
figure
your
it
thing.
out.
Go do your
Yeah.
thing.
Fine, go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll take care of
Well-
it. Oh boy.
We'll keep it going, and then if we have to cut to a break, we'll cut to a break. Go do
Yeah.
your car thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So Jaxper is just very very focused on everything Jaxper's
Maeve,
dealing with.
yes. Yeah, exactly.
Maeve, yes. Maeve and the internal conflict of should I use my nanites? Should I not use my nanites? Probably not.
Right.
And Dr. Hayworth is we only theorized the existence of nanosterone. We never expected that it might be real.
Nanosterone.
Nanosterone, yes.
It's true. It's true.
I didn't stick around to help raise my son, so I never got to find out if
He didn't, though.
would be
He
real.
went to buy space
true.
cigarettes, and everything just...
and just decided to stay on the moon.
Yeah, he went to make space utopia and never came back.
But yeah, so so after that, Padgett will be like, all right, so she's from Mars. Rose like Jesus might be dying. He's not human 100%.
Yeah, just
tiny
fucking
robots.
Rip it,
Also
baby.
might be dying.
Slop that down, dude. Shit, yeah, dude. Crack one for the big boy.
And you're what percentage of human are you?
Who, me?
You.
All percent. 120% regular human.
Just
You
got a
promise?
real big gun.
Promise. I mean, yeah, I guess. What does promise mean? Is that how you determine things based upon if people pinky swear that they ain't lying to you?
Absolutely
I got bad
not.
news,
Also-
Padgett.
Also, real quick, thank you so much for your donation, TD Pod. We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Planned
Yeah.
Parenthood appreciates it, even though they don't know it yet. But thank you so much. And I have added one to the advantage pool as well. So y'all are up to 4. Good work.
Yay.
So many advantages.
Mhm. It's much
No.
advantage. Yeah. So you're all in this chaotic situation, but the vehicle that you are in as it continues to cruise along, it's a very strange feeling because it doesn't actually feel like anything is moving. You all just sort of feel very very static, but you are aware that you are zooming along at high speeds. There's a little ding, a little jingle that plays, and a pre-recorded, not wholly human voice announces to the inside of the cabin, "We have arrived."
Oh, sweet. Get out of here.
Dope.
And the doors sort of open, DeLorean style, straight up the same way that they did when you entered the vehicle. And you have left behind the that sort of fake idyllic nature scene from Tranquillitatis, and you are now in wherever Cognitum is. That's where he told you his home was. Getting out of the vehicle, you find yourself in a drastically different environment. You are clearly in some sort of urban center. However, just like with the vehicles that you noticed, just like with the cars that you noticed on the superhighway, the moon superhighway, everything here is extremely uniform. Every building on this block is the exact same height of every other building on this block. The next block up, you can see that the buildings are slightly taller, but they are all equally slightly taller. There is some sort of you'd guess it maybe is a power box or something. Roughly every 5 feet on the sidewalk, and the sidewalk, while it does appear to be made of some sort of concrete or concrete-like substance, there are no cracks in it. Everything is perfectly flat, perfectly you have traction as you walk.
Is there in front of each dwelling, in front of each building, is there a one child bouncing a ball?
I'm glad.
Yes,
I'm glad
exactly.
I'm not the only one.
Is that Madeline Lee angle as hell? Is that
Yep.
what we're going on?
Yeah, this is Kamazatz as
Yeah.
fuck.
Uh,
Yeah, no, there is not, but there are people around you. You can see other people. They are all sort of dressed very similarly to Dr. Hayworth. Ivan, if you want to call him by his first name. You see a lot of blacks, a lot of grays, a lot of whites, a lot of neutral tones. Everything is all of the clothes that you see people wearing seems very fashionable, but also very practical. And again, not a lot of variety. Each of the buildings that are in front of you, though, are very clearly dwellings. They each have sort of a small front square off to one side, a path leading up to a front door that is just glass with no sign of a doorknob or anything like that. You can sort of see a little bit into the home beyond, and there's like a data pad set into the wall next to the door. But otherwise, they are each 3 stories tall. They each have 3 windows at every level, and they are all of the same height as previously mentioned. They're the only thing really distinguishing them from one another is a alphanumeric designation over the front door.
Cubism, HOA, hell.
Yeah, I'm fully focused on Maeve and getting Maeve into whatever like stasis medical thing needs to happen.
Yep.
Like this place is cool.
Absolutely,
I've seen a lot of cool places. I broke most of them.
Yes.
I hope I don't break this one. It seems nice.
I gave you a very detailed description, but you're kind of all taking that in as a flash as when the car comes to a complete stop and the doors open, Hayworth is the first one out. He takes Maeve by the shoulders. Jaxper, he would tell you to take her feet, and you start carrying her up the path into the house. You are making kind of a commotion. People are looking over and curious. A couple of them do start to walk over and they actually call out and they say, Ivan, is everything all right? Do you need a hand? And Ivan,
I do not actually do that. That's not in character.
I mean, don't you though?
Paget might.
I was gonna say Paget's just full on just gonna be like, oh no, she's fine. She just looked out the window while we were going way too fast. Way too much.
They nod in understanding. Ivan actually looks a little like he looks at you, Paget, and makes kind of a grateful expression, and nods at you, like, good lie.
Oh no! She looked out the window when the car was driving. She's just like, oh.
Mm-hmm. But he gets to the door and he leans down, sticks his face in front of that little data pad set into the wall, and the door swings open inside. Voice chimes a little, and a jingle chimes, and and a voice identical to the one that you heard in the car says, "Welcome home, Dr. Hayworth." And he immediately makes for the stairs, which there is basically the first floor that you can see as you walk in. Still very. You mentioned cubism, and it is still very much that sort of cubism aesthetic to it. A lot of grays, a lot of neutral tones. There's furniture around, but it's a very specific, it's a very specific aesthetic that is present everywhere. And as you step in, and that voice chimes and says, "Welcome home," a little ramp descends from the ceiling automatically, and then panels sort of flip themselves into stairs along this ramp. And Hayworth says, "My lab is upstairs. We will have to get her upstairs," and starts walking backwards up the staircase. And Jaxper, you assist him, and Maeve is not heavy. She is not a large person, so you were able to get her up very, very simply. Hypercubism, exactly. And yeah, he will lead you into another room through another door that sort of opens automatically as he approaches it, and into a very well organized, immaculate, sterile, even environment that is clearly his lab. There is equipment of all kinds all over, lining the walls, on tables. But everything, like I mentioned, is very, very organized. You recognize some of the equipment that he has here, but more of it, you have no idea what it is or what it does. And he does have he clears off a table, just kind of like sweeps everything off the top of it, because he doesn't have like a medical examining table here or anything like that, but he sweeps the top off of this one table and tells you to set her down here, and immediately starts like dragging things over, pulling things down that are on. Actually, as a matter of fact, he doesn't even have to drag them down; they just sort of start to like descend from arms that are attached to the ceiling and different parts of the room. A screen descends. There's a long object that he sort of sets over top of Maeve, and it immediately starts scanning her with a light back and forth. Um, and yeah, he does um, uh, as he is going, he does call out, um, and says, "Ava, we will need something to keep her out and make sure that the spread of whatever is afflicting her is halted." And there's like a ding of recognition, but no voice. And then another arm, a couple seconds later, as he's mid-examination, descends from the ceiling with a syringe on one end of it, and is going to inject her in the arm unless you intervene.
Mm. I'm gonna intervene. I'm gonna stop and just be like, what is that?
Oh, he like looks up and sees the arm, and like it didn't even occur to him that you would have questions about it. And he said, "Oh, it's a sedative. It will slow down her metabolism and hopefully halt whatever is happening to her body."
Yeah, okay, which one? I've got her medical records. Like, I just need to know like which one is it so that I can tell you if she's not like fucking allergic to it.
It's
He could just.
I mean, it's a complicated. Yeah,
If he
says
just
it's a
named
complicated.
the thing, he'll like just actually like look up her crew record and be like, okay, that's fine.
Right. He says it is a complicated cocktail, and he starts rattling off a list of things. Some of them you recognize, some of them you don't. But you you have access to it. Like at the end of it, you're like, okay, and then you like have Maeve's medical records, and she's not allergic to anything. So yeah. So the arm, he looks up and says, "Proceed," and it injects her in the arm. But her body tenses briefly, and then she relaxes, and like goes limp. Um, and, actually, there we go.
Oh my.
Yes. So she is now sedated.
Oh dear.
Mm-hmm. And in the process of being scanned, and he basically just goes to work, and he's gonna actually, if you don't leave Jaxper, he's going to start like
I think he froze.
oh no. Well, okay. I thought he just turned his camera off. I could see his captions still going, but I thought he just was talking. Your audio's not working. You're not coming through at all. I would say maybe try refreshing again.
Oh dear.
Sorry about that, man. It's one of those things where I feel like, honestly, just restarting my computer would probably fix this, but we're already in the middle of the stream.
Yeah, I think my camera literally died. I don't know why that would have killed my microphone too, but
Oh,
given they're on totally separate
I
things.
don't
But yeah, I think my
either,
camera
but-
died.
okay, I'm sorry. You're back.
Thankfully, I
And I can
have
hear
another
you.
camera, so we just get the
Alright.
lo-fi
Yeah.
version of
So
Dan.
we're just going through things. We all, for those of you watching, we all actually showed up on time at call, got all of our stuff settled, and was good to go. Like 16 minutes early, like even before we put up the 10-minute call thing.
So we knew
cool.
something
So
was
we
going
knew
to
something
happen.
was going to go.
Yeah, exactly. And the death
Yeah,
of my
exactly.
camera is at
It's-
least one of them.
Yeah. I mean, I've like blipped a couple times, but our last like 5 streams have had like 0% dropped frames, and we're at like
That's great.
4.7% for this stream. So I don't know what's going on.
It's all even in out.
My internet connection is the same. Yeah. Anyway, it's fine. So anyway, yeah, he is going to just sort of like start talking to you. And if you like, it's up to you if you want to respond to him or not. But basically, like he's sort of bouncing ideas off of you and kind of talking about what he's doing as he's doing it, and sort of saying like, well, all right, maybe perhaps if I compile the data this way, or perhaps it's something that's something that a deeper sort of scan would have to reveal infrared, perhaps, or maybe bioelectric. But he's mostly just like
He's rubber ducking at me, like I'm his rubber duck. He's like talking through his process at me.
yes, but if you respond, he has a conversation with you.
Okay.
And like, mostly my question is, are you receptive to this?
I think yes, because we're sort of talking about saving my friend. So yeah, I'm going to be interested in doing that. So yeah, I'll. This does not. I'm not going to be shitty teen about this right now.
Okay.
All
right.
I'll
So,
save
yeah,
my shitty
I'm gonna
teen
say
for later.
that like. Yeah. So I'm going to say over the course of this conversation, there's a couple of times where, you say something in response to something that he says, and he looks at you and he's like, of course, I don't know how I could have missed that. Absolutely. Yes. Let's do that. And then he like goes and implements whatever idea you'd mentioned. While all of this is going on, Paget, Ellis, what are you two doing?
I don't know. It's a surgical theater at this point. Again, hand wringing.
I was gonna say, I think we're standing kind of like at the door, but like not in the lab, because it's just like Paget will mention to Ellis, she'll be like, things were getting pretty tense in the car. I was gonna suggest maybe like they got high together and talked it out, but I think this is working for them.
Yeah, trauma brings people together. If I've learned anything on the Nephilim, it's true. Near-death experiences,
Yeah. Do you need anything? You seem really stressed.
Tense? Yeah, I'm tense.
Yeah,
no, I don't think. Maybe, I don't know. I've watched this kid die like twice already at this point. It's pretty fucking alarming.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, though, that one is the one who brought her back to life last time, so I guess this should go fine.
Okay. Well,
I am the foremost expert on
bringing Maeve back to life.
On bringing Maeve back to life.
It's true.
It's gonna be fun.
The only one, one of two with real experience doing it. So.
All right. Well, if you need anything, you let me know.
All right.
I'm gonna go see if I can find a kitchen and some water.
Sure, that seems good for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe you need something to do with your hands, so that might be helpful for you.
Are you inviting me aggressively? Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah. And so Padgett's going to
So you
bird dog him down the stairs
Yeah.
back into the...
To find something to do, basically.
Yeah.
Yes, you can absolutely find a kitchen. It is sort of reminiscent of the underside of the seats in the car, in so much that there are no like visible doors to cabinets or anything like that. It is pretty it is pretty strictly just looks like solid like paneling.
It's just such a strange reference. It's very similar to under the seats of a car. Like,
I know.
Yeah?
I know. It's
It's like you go in,
it's a very strange sentence to say, but
but the universal act of walking into a stranger's kitchen and having to open every cabinet because you don't know how they organize has never changed. And so I will open all of his cabinets.
it's true.
Are they those fucking weird cabinets
Yeah.
where it's like you can't
you have
tell?
to push it.
You can't
Yeah, you gotta
slam
Click
push
them.
it, and then
it,
it opens
and
up.
like there's a special cabinet that like hides the refrigerator.
Yes.
It's like soft touch, so you
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
slam anything if you're pissed off. You can't-
Yeah, the only thing that really demarcates this as the kitchen is the fact that there is no other furniture in it, and the floor is like a marble instead of a wood.
Is it-
Yes.
Yeah. Does it
And,
let us do things? Like, does it like stop us because we're not the doctor?
Go to open a cabinet, it like
Does it like?
user does not have permissions to access this cabinet.
No, I mean it lets you
Okay.
lets you like open things. You don't know if it's like if it's like fingerprints, if it's reading your fingerprints, or if it's just like pressure based or what.
It's
But
definitely paying attention to how much stuff we
yeah,
get out
it
of the
is,
fridge,
uh,
though.
It's gonna judge us
Yeah.
for our
I
calorie
mean,
intake.
as far as you know, yes. But the panels are like they're distinguishable enough that you can like see. Okay, that's shaped like a refrigerator. That one's like kind of low and shaped vaguely like an oven and things like that. So that there are like lines, furrows, I don't know, that let you know roughly what something is. Like you can tell what's supposed to be a cabinet and what's supposed to be a fridge and things like that. Yeah, you can find pretty much whatever you're looking for. I guess that's a good question. What are you looking for? Are you looking for food? Are you looking for beverages?
Drinks was like literally something to put into Ellis's hand, so he has something to hold, so that he's not just
it.
like
As recommended, space tea.
space tea. Yeah, I will look for space tea. Just
Right,
literally
okay.
something to
Spaceman,
distract him.
sleepy
can-
time tea.
Yes. You can find quite a collection of tea. However, as you're going through the cabinets, probably unsurprisingly, what strikes you the most is that everything is labeled, but it is not branded. Like the tea is in containers that say tea. They are white
Alright.
boxes with black letters on them.
That is a-
Similar, like you see like boxes of cereal. You see, oats. Typical things that you would find in a kitchen, except that they are in containers that just say what they are, not who made them.
One of those people who goes to the container store and he takes everything out of the package when he gets home to put it in his own containers.
Yeah, is this a personal organizational technique, or is this just how shit's done on?
I think it's probably more likely that it's like there is one monopoly-like company that makes everything on the moon, and thus no need to advertise.
Yeah. Hard to say. I mean, you do know, all of you would know, but just because it's common knowledge that the corps, the megacorps, are are forbidden from trade or doing business on Tranquility. It's illegal.
These motherfuckers don't want to shit where they eat. Yes, Theo. Stop rolling things under the office door, please.
Absolutely not.
He will not.
Theo maintains his
Um,
ungovernable status.
It's true. It's true. He would do well in hyper-capitalist space future.
God, there's
yeah,
a
so
brand
you
that does
do
this
find-
already, and I was trying to look it up.
It's in Canada. I know it's a thing.
Yeah,
Oh, interesting. Okay. I
yeah.
mean,
There's a brand that specifically does that.
I was describing this tea and stuff like that, and I realized that it's like those it's like the boxed water branding, where it's just like a white box that says water in big
Yeah.
blocky black letters.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to that, but yeah, you're not sure if he's just like a kind of a neat freak, or if this is just how things are done on Tranquility. But you do know that the corps have no presence here, under penalty of law. But yeah, you can find pretty much everything you're looking for. You find tea. You also find a cabinet that is just full of glass bottles with various amber and clear liquids inside of them. Not like crystal bottles, almost liquor bottles, essentially. And those are in another cabinet. Yes. Do you want to know what's disappointing? Liquid Death is apparently like super into NFTs, which I just found out the other day.
Yep.
Oof.
They're big on them.
Which
is very upsetting because oh, you're still muted, Della.
At this point, like, I've just got to give the NFTs like a pass and just be like, oh,
nope, we're winning.
You're just dumb. You're just dumb as a box of fucking rocks.
Nah, we're winning. You keep it up, Della. Maintain your rage. They're fucking dying.
Yeah.
People are giving up. Whole companies have abandoned them because of how pissed people get.
Because they're dumb as shit.
Continue to mock the crypto nerds.
Oh no, I will never stop. I will never stop mocking crypto nerds, especially since I married one. But I will never stop.
You don't have to say that on stream.
You don't have to call him out.
He's not actually a crypto nerd.
If he mints an NFT, though, I don't know.
He will not even he in the way he is would not go for that. NFTs are dumb as shit.
It's true. It's true.
At least don't have enough money to launder to make that.
So they're like
Twitch.
Yeah. Liquid Death has like this punk branding, so they're all like punk NFTs too. And I'm like, just please shut the fuck up. I'm begging you.
Oh man, there's nothing
NFT.
More
Yes,
nothing more.
No, you know who my most disappointing NFT person recently is Matthew Lillard.
Who's that?
Comedian Shaggy from the live action Scooby-Doo's, like really great with a bunch of like RPG stuff too, like does a ton of tabletop RPG stuff. Yeah, his whole production company are doing like RPG NFTs and stuff.
Also SLC Punk.
Yes. Yeah, he was from SLC Punk. Yeah. I was completely shocked. People were like, "Yeah, Matthew Lillard's going really hard in the paint for NFTs." I'm like, "What? Why?"
I mean, it's what TD Pod said in the chat. It's mini pump and dumps. It's absolutely get rich quick scamming, and some people don't know that it's a scam, and they just think, "Oh, what a cool thing to do to maybe make a couple bucks."
Well, there's also the semi-conspiracy theory that the reason why a bunch of celebrities are getting into it now is because in order for anyone who has already been in the market to get out, you need new people to enter, much like a pyramid scheme. So if we spend $150,000 to get Gwyneth Paltrow to support NFTs, then sweet, we can get a whole bunch of people that have never heard of them to buy in, and then we can get our money and get out. So.
Speaking of people,
Peter Lombard. Peter Lombard are doing NFTs.
Speaking of people who I do not respect, but I love to follow, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, because Goop is
the last
doing
thing I'll say on this
Goop
subject,
NFTs or something. I don't remember.
I mean, that is the least surprising sentence I've ever heard.
Goop is just nuts.
I would have assumed Goop was on the foreground, like
right.
If you told me Goop invented NFTs, I would have been like, exactly. That makes sense. Yeah,
these are non-fungible tokens.
The last thing
tokens
I'll say,
that can't get.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say on this subject is I woke up to a notification on April 1st from StreamCord, which is one of the bots we use for our Discord, that they were going to be starting to mint NFTs, and that you could get your exciting own StreamCord NFT. And for a second, I almost kicked the bot out of our Discord, and then I realized it was April 1st. And then
Like
3 hours
5
later,
different organizations did that, and 2 of them that I've seen have been like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, we're sorry. We actually lost a lot of users because we didn't really think this through."
Yep.
Our
Heart
bad.
3
Attack
hours
did it
later, they
too.
like posted.
Heart Attacks was funny though.
They posted another announcement, and they were like, "We've heard you, and we've decided not to move forward with our NFT minting process."
We've
And it was
decided to
actually very
stop
funny.
To not move forward with our April Fool's joke. We have ended the April Fool's
Yeah,
joke.
exactly.
April Fools.
But anyway, I was excited that we did not have to kick them out of our Discord. But
Did we mention
anyway,
this is the anti-capitalism stream? Hi, how's everyone doing?
Yeah,
Hello.
right. I think this time when I tweeted our going live announcement, I did just flat out say like, this is our anti-capitalism space game. Come check it out. So, hopefully people found their way here from that. Welcome.
Yay!
I hope this is the anti-NFT content you found. We are all NFTs. We are nerds for truth.
Yes, that's right.
And we are here to speak it.
You can't fund us if you
and,
tried.
Back. Yeah. Don't clip me saying we are all NFTs, please.
We beg.
Clip
anyway.
it, turn it into a song.
Uh,
Make it a song.
I'm gonna do it.
We are so you were going through this man's kitchen. You found his liquor
Yep.
cabinet. You found his
Yep.
tea.
It's
There's
a weird
lots of
liquor
other
cabinet with all the
foods
bottles
and-
labeled
and-
rum, vodka 1, vodka 2.
Yes. Actually, yes. I am 100% down for that. There's
Alarmed.
rum 1, rum 2, vodka 1,
Yeah.
vodka 2.
Vodka 2.
You don't know what those. You don't know what the differences
better
between
or is
them
2
are,
better?
but they
Who knows?
hard to
Possible to
say.
say.
I will make tea as best I can. Paget's only seen tea made in like movies. Paget herself has never consumed tea in her life.
Are we sure that we got tea? Because there's a number of herbs that resemble loose leaf tea, and this man
So-
strikes me as a loose leaf tea man.
He sure does. So upstairs there is actual like surgery and science happening, and downstairs we are destroying this
Reinventing the
kitchen,
concept of boiling leaves.
trying to make a cup of tea because I've only done it. I've never done it before, but I
And Alice-
think it's the thing
I
to
think-
do in this situation.
Yeah, no,
You-
and
you
Alice as a
managed to
traditional
put the
Texan
loose
only drinks
leaf
coffee.
into the
so.
kettle.
Yep.
Actually,
I'm just boiling the whole
At-
thing
at a-
all at once.
That's not true. Or sweet
I
tea.
think at a
Alice is
certain-
familiar with sweet tea.
That's true. At a certain point, the automation system for the house like senses that you're having difficulty and just starts narrating instructions on how to brew tea. And
I would
telling
find
you
this
where
insulting
to find
if we
things.
hadn't
It's-
already missed 3 of the steps.
It's like, oh,
drawers like start popping open, and it starts telling you where to like. There's a little yellow light up outline around like the tea, the clicky tea ball thing that you need.
It's best to
Um,
retain only a small amount of loose leaf tea inside of the strainer.
Yes.
Don't spill any into the pot.
Activating child mode.
it's like, oh, this is great.
Warning, the water
this
is
what
hot.
Ellis needs when he's making chili.
Listen,
Because
Exactly.
listen.
it's a robot to tell him stop.
Ain't no robot
Don't
tell
do
me
that.
how to make
Stop.
chili.
Jaxper's tried.
That's right.
You've had robots try to tell you how to make
God
chili before,
damn
and you just ignore
robots.
us.
It's true.
Yeah.
Ain't no
Well,
recipe for chili. Chili's something
no-
you feel in your gut.
That's right. Chili ain't about science. Chili's about art.
Yours is about squirrel.
Listen, impressionism is a fine art.
I didn't think I was going to eat squirrel in space, is what I'm saying.
Dadaist chili is underappreciated in its time, and it will come back around.
so I like
Like
to
all
imagine this
times.
is a retelling that Alice is
Exactly.
giving Paget while
Yes.
she
Yeah,
makes
exactly.
tea.
Yeah.
It's
So I'll
just
take the robot
For sure.
instructions for tea, because
Um,
tea needs to be precise, like baking or grenades. But chili,
Look, you guys
And,
keep talking about chili, but no one's ever made chili for me, and I've been here for 3 whole days. This feels
I can't
rude.
do it here. This place is too clean.
Is it like
I'm missing my
those
muse.
like
That's right.
is it like those special skillets that you're not supposed to wash? You can only cook
Yeah,
it
there's
in
just
your
there's no
pot?
patina on anything, and Ellis refuses to cook on surfaces this clean. Don't understand it if there's not grease on the countertops.
This is terrible.
It doesn't make sense.
I hate this.
Good thing you're upstairs doing surgery.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
That's true.
This
You're
is for
doing science upstairs.
this is for the Texas idiots
Yeah.
only.
You can do you do tea. You accomplish tea. You are
We didn't even have to
able
roll for it. Hell
make food
yeah.
if you want it. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna make you roll for making tea. You have this guidance system to help you.
Training wheels.
But the main question is, are you gonna like wait basically until you hear something from Hayworth and or Jaxper? Do you want to explore? Do you want to what's your thought here?
I am a curious person by nature. I will probably want to explore, but you know, I do want to know what's happening to Maeve. Like, I do like her. I'm not gonna do anything that will be completely distracting from being able to hear if they call.
Yeah, absolutely. So you kind of just want to like idly wander around the ground floor of this man's house.
Yeah, I'll follow along
you
as
can
well.
find?
Like sipping tea.
Okay. One or both of you can feel free to roll scope it out.
Okay.
Up to you. Or you can assist one another if you like. Up to you.
Let's see, that's gonna be.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably had better scope it out than Ellis does.
I only got a 6.
Hey, it's a +1.
Alright, mark
I
an
think Ellis
XP.
is on. Well, I'm
Yeah.
on +1.
Yeah.
Julia, go ahead and mark an XP also because
Okay.
you failed.
Yeah. I'm too confused by the
Failing
lack of
forward.
demarcation on this house. I can't tell what anything
Yeah.
is. I'm like standing there. I'm like, is this
It's
a
very
living
weird.
room? Is this a living room or is this like a guest
Um,
bedroom? It's just, this looks highly uncomfortable. It's just square.
Yeah, without knowing the like commands for things, it is very disconcerting and strange. You just kind of like do a complete circuit. That between that and the tea, you manage to kill a fair amount of time. And then pretty like shortly thereafter, upstairs, back in the lab, Hayworth kind of like pushes his chair back from the table that Maeve is laid out on, still sort of being scanned and checked for things, and says, "All right, well, she is stable, and hopefully we will learn something that we didn't know before."
yeah.
So this was all mostly to stabilize and then begin scans, like a MRI, or
Yeah, we're collating data now. I've got Shervin and 19 are working on some stuff.
you still got a lot of people in there. Are we work? Is that something we
Two.
need to be actively working on too? Is that
Probably.
right? Because you're like dying, right?
I am.
Like,
Yes, kind of.
okay, I thought I remember that happening.
That is happening. I am dying.
How you doing, Paget? You got, space sickness, space flu, weird robots in your eyes. Anything going on? You got
Do I have
arthritis or
robots in
something?
your eyes? Don't.
No,
don't
no
do that.
robots in my eyes. I did talk to a guy one time about getting like venom sacs implanted so that when
Well, that's rad as hell.
you
That's
bite
cool as
people,
shit. Yeah,
you could poison them.
like a viper. Just
But, like-
get in there.
But like that shit's expensive, so it didn't happen. But I've thought about it.
I get it. Yeah, right.
It also seems like one of those things where if somebody punches you in the jaw hard enough, it could cause you serious issues.
Well, you gotta you gotta be immune, or you get like another set of teeth that have the antidote in those teeth. Anyway, so Doc, I guess the more pertinent question is, now that we've saved the one of the members of the Nephilim, I think Jaxper might also need a special medical bed, probing, MRI,
Also-
scanning.
Also,
Right.
do either of you guys want tea? And she just holds up the whole pot that she made by accident. She's like,
It's good. Alice has got like one that's still got like leaves floating around on the top of it. It's chewy in a good way.
You want some tea?
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. In my haste, everything was a little bit chaotic. I'm so sorry. Ava, activate visitor mode. And the lights around here get a little bit dimmer. I'm sorry, a little bit brighter. Like the lights everywhere get a little bit brighter, and the sort of furrows that you saw, the sort of indentations that indicated like where the cabinets were and everything, actually like light up blue, to further indicate where a thing is. And Hayworth waves his hand and says, "It's. I'm sorry. It's going to be a lot more. It'll give you a lot more guidance as you move around the place. If you are searching for something,
everything
if you want to
already.
know where
That's
something is
fine.
located.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Core
found what
part
we,
of cabinets.
what we
I assume
needed.
you'll. Well, I assume you'll be here for longer than a few hours.
Yeah, presumably.
We're definitely going to be here till Maeve is fixed up, and
well, and until Jaxper is also fixed up. Jaxper, we're working on.
Yeah, fucking
Yes.
yeah.
Fucking yeah.
Do you have,
Right.
like, white coat syndrome? Are you afraid of doctors?
I don't love it. I do not enjoy it, because you see, if there's something wrong with you in the program, you get decommissioned.
Yeah, but you're free range now. That's not like a concern.
It only works if you work it, Jax.
I'm just giving some context as to why I am squirrely about this.
I mean, it's perfectly understandable working with some of the men and women who, well, I suppose, would have raised you. It's honestly very impressive that you have turned out how you have, given their plans for you and your fellows.
Yeah. Most of us turned out okay.
Is that true? Like on an average, did most of you turn out all right?
Okay, of the three of us that actually got out of the facility, two of us turned out okay.
Yeah, that's
and
fine.
then the other one did not turn out okay. And
Right.
in fact,
Well, I
tried
mean,
to
you
kill the
said
rest of us.
most. You didn't say all. I was trying
Yeah.
to
Wait, two
pick
out of
apart.
three.
I just-
Two out of
two
three are great odds.
That's
Right?
66%. That's pretty good. Yeah.
You take those odds all the time. Street racing.
That's
That's
math.
like
That's right.
excellent. That's like choice.
Yeah, that's decent gambling odds. I'm just saying.
66. That's a B plus.
That's right.
So that's not a B plus.
No, that passes all day, every day.
I got a 66 in math, so yeah. He says obviously one of my intentions in inviting you here was to help you with what it is that you're dealing with. I'm not entirely certain I understand it yet, but I would like to, but also to answer any questions that you might have had for the last, well, 50 years or so.
I mean, I've had they built us in the first place. Like, we were four kind of fuck up super soldiers who pretty rarely went out and actually did super soldier shit. Like, we did, but it always felt like we were. I mean, we were prototypes, and I don't know what we were prototypes like for. And I see the fucking Shinshoku up on Taka. You know, they're like actually out there doing shit with their nanotech. Now their nanotech is fucking gross. I don't know if have you seen that shit?
Those the bugs?
The bugs.
I saw the bugs.
Yeah,
I saw the bugs on
cicadas.
TV.
Oh, I do not
Yeah.
like the bugs. Oh my
They're
god.
a lot.
He snuck one of those on board me, and I hated it.
I watched it come out of you.
I did not like that. I don't know how he snuck it on. I don't know how he snuck that thing fucking on board. I had completely forgotten about that. What?
I mean, he probably just walked on board. I mean, that's what I did. You guys don't really have a great vetting
We
process.
stopped you first.
We had an interview.
I mean, yeah, but like nobody checked my bags. You don't know what I brought with me.
Well, that would be rude. What am I, the TSA? That's fucked up.
I'm just saying, you can't
shit
be
don't
like,
work
how
anyway.
did this? How are you gonna
We're
sit
not
there and
cops.
tell me? How are you gonna sit there and say to my face, I don't know how he got that on board when I know for a fact none of you checked my
No,
stuff?
I know how he got on board my ship. I don't know how he got it on board my internal systems.
Yeah, he
thing's the
put
size
it
of my
inside of
fucking
Jax.
thumb
Let's be
joint.
clear.
Were you sleeping?
Probably.
I was gonna say.
Fit all kinds of bugs in somebody when they're sleeping.
I mean, you've clearly had a fascinating life.
Fascinating is one word for it, Doc.
It has, again,
Touched.
just been...
Troubled.
I cannot emphasize enough how much it has just been these past 3 months.
Only for you? Only 3 months? Aren't you on identity like 6?
Yeah. Most of those previous identities were really boring.
You like burned a bar down.
Yeah, that was this identity, and I did not burn a bar down.
No, didn't you like one number 5? Like, or did you kill a man? I don't remember. We were supposed to hunt you down for that. Remember?
I did not kill a guy. Okay, there was a bar fight.
Right.
There was maybe excessive property damage.
The fire.
There was not a fire. I did not set. If there was a fire later, that was somebody else's problem. I
Suffice
did
to say,
not
Doctor,
realize
yes,
that a
Jax
whole
has
bunch
had
of shit
a
was
blessed laugh.
bolted down, and I thought that shit should be thrown at the person who was trying to assault me.
So yes, a blessed laugh, some might say.
Yes.
I
Well,
just stole cars.
Only.
Who hasn't?
As far as
Homest amongst.
Host.
I'm just saying, I need to catch up. I'm behind.
as far as some of your questions are concerned, Jaxper, I may be able to shed some light on them. I was a young man at the time. I was finishing my dissertation, exploring the many applications and possibilities for the implementation of nanotechnology. And the results were impressive. The theoretical results, I should say. I had theorized so many applications and so many uses, so many ways that they could fix everything. I mean, everything that humanity has done, violence and need, hunger, what we've done to the planet, they could have reversed all of it. They could have ensured that no one would ever go hungry again. They could have eliminated disease, cancer. And I think you're muted.
Jaxper was interrupting anyway, and it's not important. So.
Gotcha. Okay. I was in demand would be an understatement. I was pursued. I was offered anything I wanted, anything I could have imagined. Ultimately, I accepted an offer put forth by a contract between Stedman Zhang Corporation and Crucible Medical Technologies. They were interested in my ideas, and they offered me the most money. They gave me the opportunity to put a team together myself, and they, well, they promised that I would have the opportunity to oversee application, not just pursue research, not just build a model, but see my ideas in motion. But as it turned out, they were only interested in 2 of my applications, 2 of my models. Soldiers and spies. Soldiers were to be the first test subjects. I insisted that any live testing, when we reached the stage for live human testing, that the subjects be created for this purpose. I didn't want them taking transients off the streets or anything like that to experiment on them. We took samples from donors, voluntary, of course, and among them, myself. And you and your cadre were the result of that first experiment. I remained at this facility in this contract as long as it lasted. It became clear to me over time that while I may have started the project and provided them with the elements that they needed, at a certain point it was very much no longer my project. And my contract ended. They made me an offer, of course, but I don't think they wanted me to accept it. I think by that point they had everything they wanted, and they were happier with me out of the picture. So I left. I provided information to the cultural ministry of Takamagahara. They were more interested in the spy model of my research. But again, there was no desire, no thought given to ending hunger, to helping people. And then, in the wake of that, as I was starting to give up all hope, I received an offer from the Scientific Academy here on Tranquility. I was offered citizenship for my notable contributions to the scientific community. And I've been here ever since.
These people here want you working on solving world hunger, sickness, curing cancer.
Well, we have done those things, Jaxper.
Here.
I have learned my lesson many times over about what happens when you try to share scientific advancement in the hopes of it being implemented one way, only to find it corrupted and changed, utterly unrecognizable to what you set out to do.
Yeah, but that's if you're starting
Science,
from like
knowledge, Miss Aeschylus, is knowledge is a hammer. You can use it to build, but just as easily you can use it to destroy. It all depends on the hand that wields it.
yeah, but if you're building something from the bottom up, yeah, it's easier for people to come in and fuck with it. But if you're already got it working somewhere, you can just bring it down.
Oh yeah. Fully, greatest respect to what you tried to do, and and all of that, and I, as much as the shit I've been through has sucked, I do like being alive. So there's that. That's kind of chill. But 100%, if I can get my hands on any of that research, I'm 100% stealing it and taking it away from here, just so we're clear.
Like, you can't just sit here and tell us that you just helped make...
I'm fully gonna do that.
You helped make spies and super soldiers, and then you came and made, like, the end of world hunger, but you're not going to try to correct your mistakes by unleashing spies and super soldiers on the general populace by sharing the information for the good parts.
To be fair, I can't go back to Earth, I don't think. Right? We can't go back to Earth? Or is it Tranquility? Or is it
you guys?
Takamagahara.
Taka. Yeah, we can't go back to Taka.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, Aoi cannot go back to Taka.
He can't go back to Taka. The people who I helped slingshot into each other said you can't go back to
that's
Earth.
true.
Can't go
Yeah,
back.
Oh,
do
no,
that.
that's right. Yeah. The auditors
you did
do
do
want
that.
us to not go back to Earth. That's
I
fair.
don't think
That's fair.
Yeah.
there's a lot of places we can't.
Yeah,
Go
it turns
back
out we
to-
pissed some people off, huh?
Man,
mean,
well,
shit.
basically what it comes out to is the auditors know who you are and are actively seeking you.
Right.
You did blow up some Tranquility orbital space defense ships, but they did not know. Or I don't even think you blew them up. I think you evaded them.
I just evaded them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they did not get a chance to identify you. You managed to like spoof your signal and block that from happening. One of you rolled and did that.
Right.
But yeah, the Earth Coalition is actively hunting you. If you go back to Earth, there are obviously places you can hide, but you are putting yourself in danger if you do that. Takamagahara doesn't know that that was you that they were pursuing. So you're kind of rolling.
Either
the dice
way.
on that. But either way,
Yeah.
he says, I don't make soldiers or spies or
Right, but you sold the information to figure it out. So now you're so scared of doing it again that you're not going to help anyone try and cure cancer or anything? That seems a little
all right.
fucky-wucky.
All right,
I don't know.
Guys, can we not do the thing that we always do?
What, is this something that we do?
People? Yeah, this is something we do. You actually
Yeah.
tied in quite nicely. You kind of just jumped right in on the...
We, literally just met this dude. He's helping our friend. Maybe we don't harangue him about the ethics and morality of...
But we're so positive that ours are correct. I mean, obviously, right?
Yeah, obviously, we're fucking paragons of fucking virtue, man.
We're the best.
You shot a man in the stomach because he looked at you funny.
No, I shot a man in the stomach because he threatened my friends and family. And you, for one. So, you're welcome. Secondly...
It's Jaxper, I appreciate you coming to my defense, but honestly, it's fine. I have a question for the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you honestly think that the corporations and Takamagahara don't know how to cure cancer or end world hunger?
Oh, Taka sure as hell does.
Yeah, probably.
We're not sitting in an ivory tower holding all of this knowledge hostage. We're not the only scientists in the solar system. There are plenty of people on Earth, on Takamagahara, just as intelligent, if not smarter than I am. But altruism and equality and sustainability, that is not part of their ecosystem.
Yeah, I suppose that's not too profitable, is it?
Oh, it's stupid as shit. It's short-sighted as hell. Human desire is a bucket with a fucking hole in it, man. It's not like you're going to fill it up just because you ran out of medicine to sell to people.
You're not wrong.
An apt comparison.
Padgett will lean over to Ellis again and be like, so the trauma bonding worked? They're agreeing on things.
Worked out great.
Two things hold this team together, Padgett. Trauma bonding and sitting in moral judgment of people who aren't as good as we are.
Randy, come here.
No, people that we think are not as good as we are.
That's
right. Exactly. Yes.
People who have made slightly different choices in situations than we would have made.
Correct.
Correct. Yes. Okay. So he says, I hope that may have answered at least some of the questions that you've no doubt harbored for a very long time. This
cat.
How old was I when you left?
Well, you were a child, a very small child. Obviously, those of us here on Tranquility, our aging is not as pronounced as it is in other places within the system. Access to the best medical care and diet advisors, regulated care, all of these things contribute to a much higher average lifespan here on Tranquility.
Yeah, no, I was just we're looking through some reports. Because we obviously broke into a bunch of offices and looked through the reports because we were, nano robot enhanced teenagers, and that's
obviously.
Is what you do. And I remember seeing reports.
That would have been the nanosterone at work.
Yeah, the nanosterone. I remember looking at some reports. We had wondered why most of us don't actually have any solid memories before we were 3, because the nanites usually just record fucking everything. I remember there being some like soft tissue damage when they tried to record things around before the age of 3, just because apparently the squishy bits don't like recording that stuff very much.
Well, yes. I mean, based on our research, it was determined that 3 would be the roughly the ideal age to activate the program fully.
To actually switch them on.
Beyond ancillary running, yes. There were some baseline metrics that it's quite boring.
I figured out how to hack them pretty early, so I actually think this is really super fascinating, because normally when I talk to people about that, they look at me like I'm a crazy person. So, if you want to just sit and talk about nanorobotics, that would actually be super dope.
Yeah, because none of us know what the hell he's talking about most of the time.
They don't know. They don't know anything. And frankly, the other guys don't know shit either, because they didn't figure out how to do any of the hacking
I am
stuff.
glad to hear that you and y'all were actual nano bros. That's kind of cool. That's kind of real. It's kind of a nice through line, you know.
Yes, I suppose that is true from a certain perspective.
I am being told that not immediately, but soon, I will have to go engage in childcare.
I was holding off on our break for Edelweiss hours. So
Edelweiss hours.
Whenever you are needing to go, just let me know, and we'll hop off for like 15 minutes or so, and then come right back.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yes. So, he laughs a little bit at that and says, "Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could talk for hours about everything, but well, to illustrate this point, you managed to hack them at a relatively young age, you said, and in that regard, your, shall we say, generation was both more effective than we ever intended for you to be, and also deeply flawed. Deeply flawed, obviously, in the capacity that the nanobots themselves, the architecture, was not nearly as secure as they wanted it to be. But also flawed, but also highly effective in that you functionally cannot die or age or change drastically in a biological sense.
Which turns out that had some. I think for later models they halted the age progression later, because turns out being 19 forever actually really sucks.
Yes, I'm sure they attributed a significant portion of the incident to that. All of that to say, Jaxper, that I understand you are dealing with some complications.
Yeah.
That I would very much like to help you with.
Yeah. Like I said before, I was briefly carrying 3 other iterations of. I had 14, 15, and 19. No, 14, 16, and 19. I'm 15. And I don't have 14 anymore. Elliot, he was making things way worse. and making it very hard for me to like live as a person. And so I dumped him, but he has a horrifying robot body now. So that's cool. Be right there.
I see. That's concerning.
Yeah, no, it's super concerning. It's everyone should be super concerned. But I've still
None of
got
us are happy about this.
I've still got 19 and 16 here. And my child is like shrieking. I don't know if you can hear
He
him
says,
in the
come with me and we'll get you hooked up. I'll look into it. You go upstairs, you get plugged in, and he begins his examination of you. And we are going to take a break while Della does some organic child care, just like a regular human person would.
Yes.
Yes. So we will be back in about 15 short minutes. Don't go anywhere. We're going to refresh some beverages. We're going to do some child care. And then we will see you right back here. Thanks for sticking with us. See you real soon. Hello, friends. We are back. We have returned. We have been re-snacked. Songs have been sung. And we are ready to return to Adventures in Space. I don't have the button like Justin does. Justin has a very good button. I should look into acquiring a space button. Yeah, you all were you actually, Jaxper, you had just gone up to get examined, to get diagnosed.
Yeah. What's wrong with me, Doc? Other than
what's wrong
obviously what's wrong with me?
What's wrong with me, Bio Dad?
What's wrong with me, Bio Dad?
Oh.
Nano
Bros and Bio Dad.
Yeah. You've heard of Dungeons and Dragons? We'll get ready for. So you are taken up to the laboratory. I mean, taken up makes it sound very, very dark, but basically you just go back to his lab where Maeve is still getting examined, and he motions to a unit across the room that it is about human sized. It actually doesn't look entirely dissimilar from the sort of tube that you found 138 in. I think it was 138 in the Crucible ship. His number doesn't really matter, but basically the other nano soldier on the Crucible ship, it doesn't look entirely dissimilar from that sort of a tube. And he says, Jaxper, I realize that this is probably not the most comfortable situation for you, but I hope you can understand why a contained environment is so important for what we're about to do.
I mean, it's probably not going to be more uncomfortable than, a whole bunch of foreign nanobots literally eating me from the inside, which is what's happening right now. So.
Touche.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So let's fuck it. Full send. Let's do this. Full send. I'm gonna go stand in the tube. That's what qualifies as full send these days.
Understood. Yes. He goes over to a terminal set into the wall by the tube and taps a few buttons, and then the tube sort of the front of it only part like separates and then sort of slides up slightly to create just enough of an opening for you to get inside. The one that you saw in the Crucible ship was very vertical. This one is set more on an angle, so it's a little bit more of you lying in it as opposed to you standing in it. But yeah, you presumably you get in the tube.
Yeah, I'm getting in the tube.
Yep, it like drops back into place, seals itself, and immediately you sort of become you get assaulted by lights, very bright lights, sort of like sliding over every inch of your body on the inside of the glass. You can sort of see vague processes running in the glass. Like you can sort of see various processes sort of visualized. occasional progress bars and like graphs and things like that filling up, and then but none of it is like labeled, and it's all sort of happening too quickly for you to really put any stock in it. And he, from the other side of the glass, the doctor, Dr. Hayworth, says to you, you sort of, he leans down to speak into the panel, and you hear his voice pretty much directly in your ear. But he leans down and he says, if at all possible, you'll need to, well, go dark.
Okay. I'm gonna send a quick message to Ellis. Just a quick little message there, like,
Ahoy, hoy.
I'm gonna have to be shut off.
So unconscious?
Yeah, but you know how like when you're unconscious, you're not doing anything. I'm gonna be out, and so you're gonna have to hold down the fort here if anything fucked up happens.
All right. Okay. So keep an eye on the doc, basically, and make sure he doesn't do anything weird with your body while you're unconscious.
I'm not so worried about that, but like, I have never found my paranoia to be, it just seems to be a good survival trait at this point.
Sure, yeah.
I've
so
never
keep
been
an eye on the
wrong
doctor.
before.
Yeah, make sure he doesn't do anything fucked up. Got it.
All right. Okay. Do you want us all to shut down, or?
I also fill in with Paget. I was like, gotta keep an idea on the doc. Make sure he doesn't do anything fucked up to Jackson's body.
Right. All of you. He looks thoughtful. And he says, well, yes, we'll have to do this in 2 phases, I suppose. I'll need to assess the damage as it stands now, and then I'll need to assess the capacity that you're operating at with, well, everything.
All right. I'm going to give the shutdown command.
Okay.
To my bots. I'll give them a quick heads up that I'm gonna do it to their bots too. But
Okay.
we're all shutting down.
You sort of shut everything down. You sort of will everything to shut down. Here's a question for you, Della.
Mm-hmm.
Does Jaxper dream normally?
I'm gonna say yes. But very rarely remembers them because just his sleep cycles are usually really, really regimented. So very rarely does he wake up point in a sleep cycle where he would remember his dreams, but he does have the function of dreaming.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Then what we're going to do now is, in true keeping, I'm going to need you to be assaulted by the abyss.
Dope.
As you shut everything down. So roll with alien.
Oh, it's my alien. It's super high, right? Nope. It's super low.
I was going to say, you might have raised it. I've made you roll it.
I did. I raised it to 0.
Oh, right. Okay.
This many.
Oh,
Oh boy, that's not a good number.
I'm gonna go ahead and take a take a thing, an XP.
Yes, yeah, take the XP. Fair enough. Okay. You do that, and then, oh boy.
good boy.
So you're gonna freeze up, and you're gonna have to keep your cool at disadvantage to shake it off. You're gonna be scarred by this experience.
Dope.
So you can write a hook about it. And then I'm gonna ask you a question from the abyss. Stares back. And you know what? It's been a while since we've done this. Oh, I'm so torn. I want to check in with Jaxper. I want to know what faint hope does he cling to? Like at this point, you are in a very different place than you were a month ago. You are actively wanted by the Earth Coalition, but you're actively wanted by a world power. People know who you are. They know your nature. Elliot is out there in a like murder demon robot body. You're still chasing down Grace in the face of a cult led by people who would have killed you if Elliot hadn't intervened when he did. What is the like one possible, and like Maeve is over there on the table for all you know, actively dying for good, maybe this time. What is the one or more unlikely outcomes that Jaxper still sort of thinks, well, maybe it's conceivably possible that
the one thing that he kind of dreams of when he's ignoring a lot of those other super negative things that are obviously going on, or when he's just sort of like daydreaming about like what life could be like, it's everyone's back on the Nephilim, including Shervin and 19. And they've got their own bodies, and they're part of the crew too. And we're just back being scrappers, or, you know, maybe if he were here for longer, it might shift to add Dr. Hayworth, or to be here in this beautiful paradise. But really, it's just he wants his family. He wants his family back. He would love it. I'm adding to that. The fourth nail cult. And Elliot being just sort of doing his thing at them, and them sort of taking one another out, and him not having to do anything about that. You know, that's the dream. Being wanted by shadowy, terrifying organizations that understand my nature is not new. I've added a third, which is annoying.
Okay,
but,
fair enough. Yeah, so you have a moment of looking around you. You have this moment of this last look around the lab, and you sort of see Dr. Hayworth's face through the glass as you see these sort of schematics whipping by, being displayed briefly, and then going on to the next. Before everything goes dark as you sort of shut everything down, system by system. And then when you come back to yourself, it's on the bridge, or rather the cockpit of the Nephilim.
That's not what it's called.
I said what I said.
Will.
I said what I said.
That's not what it's called.
But it's not what it's called.
That's what Tayo called it. It's canon.
Ooh,
You're standing there, and kind of look over, and you sort of see Paget at the controls. You're just sort of flying through space. The Nephilim starts to turn as Paget shifts the controls. And you come about to see a wreckage of some kind of cruiser. Nothing super fancy, but you can probably get some decent scrap off of it. Paget looks over at you, and as you start to sort of like drift in closely, she reaches down and she kind of kills a couple of systems. The Nephilim stops, being propelled forward and just sort of starts to drift towards it. Paget looks over at you and says, "All right, now this is it. You better get Ellis. We're gonna need the arms, and probably let Grace know too. She wanted to be informed."
Yeah, I would do those things. I assume this is a situation where I don't necessarily know I'm dreaming.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there is I'm going to say that is up to you. We are going to play through this regardless.
Yeah.
And it is up to Jaxper how much you want to live in this fantasy. How much, whether or not you are playing through it because it's kind of nice, or playing through it because you actually believe that it's real, or if you're lying to yourself and it's a combination of both. Totally up to you.
Dope. Yeah, I'll go get Ellis and Grace.
Okay. All right. You step into the galley where Ellis is, standing over a pot, stirring it. There's steam rising from something inside of it. You recognize the pot because it's never been cleaned, as previously established. It's not cast iron, but it is heavily seasoned, if you take my meaning. He looks up as you step in, kind of raises one eyebrow and says, that quick?
That quick?
All right. Well, I mean, you mind sort of keeping an eye on this? I don't want it to boil over. It's a simmer, Jaxper. It needs to simmer. Not boil.
I get it. I get it. I gotta go get Grace too. Also, I don't want to be responsible for anything that's happening here.
All right. That's fine. He puts a lid on it, turns the heat down, hits a button on the heating unit that mag locks the pot to the burner and then the lid to the pot, just in case the ship has to do any complicated stuff. It's not going to go flying and spill everywhere. And Ellis, wipes his hands down on a towel that's thrown over his shoulder like he's some kind of Michelin starred chef, and heads back into the cockpit to operate the arms of the Nephilim. And like right around that time, around that time, the door to the um, back room. Sorry, I completely blanked. The engine room opens as Maeve steps out into the galley. Sees you and like immediately makes a beeline over to you, smiling as she does so, and she does not hesitate as she gets to you and like puts her arms around you and pulls you in close and kisses you. Like just for a second. It's not prolonged or anything like that. She more of like a peck really of affection than anything, but she takes a step back after that and says it is so boring back there right now.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's uh, uh, how so? The boring.
I mean, there's just nothing to do. We like she's running great. We replaced pretty much everything. Business has kind of been too good, but I kind of don't even feel like she needs me anymore. It's almost like a real ship. And she laughs.
Huh.
You okay?
Uh, what? Yeah, yeah. I think I'm okay. I'm okay. Wait, I'm gonna keep. I gotta go. I gotta go find Grace.
Okay. I think she's in her quarters.
Cool. Cool. I'll see you around.
Okay. Are you okay?
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, yeah. I'm great. I'm great. Everything's great.
Okay.
Finger guns.
Yeah. She in a very un-Maeve like way, the Maeve that like laughs and shakes her head, kind of like almost like a giggle. And she yeah, she's clearly like amused by your antics. But yeah, she just sort of turns her attention to the chili. She releases the mag lock and takes the lid off and stirs it a little bit, leans over, like smells it, and then starts like taking stuff down from the cabinets and adding to it, in an attempt to rescue it or to de-Ellis it.
It's wise. It's wise.
Wise.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look for Grace.
You walk down the only real staircase in the Nephilim, and the captain's quarters are demarcated by the sign on the door. Is basically the first thing on your left when you get down to the bottom of the stairs. And yeah, feel free to knock on the door if you want.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Just knock on the door.
Okay, you knock on the door, and it slides open after a second. Somebody from inside calls out, "Come in," and it slides open, and there she is, Grace Miller, the captain of the Nephilim. Standing right around 6 feet tall, maybe just a little bit short. Iron gray hair cut very close to her head. some scarring along the side of her scalp. One very obvious cybernetic eye, looking back at you. And she is, the captain's quarters are, still cramped, just not as cramped as the rest of yours. She has a desk built into the wall with like a chair that she kind of pushes back. Both are built to like collapse into the walls of the ship. So she kind of pushes back the chair, slides back a little bit on the connection to the wall, and she turns to look at you. She's just sort of wearing a white tank top and like coveralls, black coveralls that are sort of tied around the waist. Pretty typical to what you are used to seeing her in, very, very heavy work boots. And she kind of like puts her hands on her knees and looks at you and like smiles and says, what can I do for you, Jaxper?
Ship. We're at the cruiser. And you said you wanted me to tell you that we were at the cruiser. Maeve kissed me?
Okay, well that doesn't seem like something I need to hear about, but that's fine, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just it.
Was there something particularly special about this kiss? Was it different from all the others?
Oh, this is so not real.
What are you talking about, Jaxper? Of course it's real.
Nah, because even when I'm daydreaming about the best possible future, that's one part I don't let myself imagine. I know I fucked that up. That's not ever happening. So, this
Jaxper, I mean, she forgave you a long time ago. You just gotta forgive yourself.
long time ago, huh? How long ago specifically?
I don't know. After you rescued me.
Where were you? Where were you being held?
She like freezes in place and like flickers for a second, and she says, well, I mean, you remember, just you were there. I was. And then right as before she can finish the sentence, alarms start going off throughout the ship. All the lights drop down, turn off. Red lights, emergency warning lights start flashing. The alarm starts to blare, and she immediately like ducks down next to her bunk. She says like, shit. Ducks down next to her bunk, pulls out like a harness that she slips on over her body. It's got like a sidearm on the side, and she says, we gotta go. We gotta see what that is. I don't know what's happening. She rushes out of the room. Yeah. She rushes out of the room. You follow after her. I imagine kind of at like a leisurely pace at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're kind of watching this play out now. You're kind of watching this all play out as she like runs out into the hallway and gets to the bottom of the staircase before the hatch at the top of the stairs, the emergency ceiling hatch, slides closed. She starts to curse even more adamantly, and she leans down to the panel set into the wall and starts like punching in buttons. rapidly, trying to override those controls. And after a couple seconds of doing this, she does so. The locks sort of release, and that door at the top of the hatch at the top of the staircase slides back open, as it starts to like suck everything out, indicating that there's been a breach in the hull integrity of the Nephilim. And she runs up the staircase. She says fuck, and she hits the side of her heavy boots, magnetizing them, and then starts to, like, she very deliberately stomps up the stairs, up the metal staircase, and through the hatchway. She looks back at you, and like her expression is like, what are you coming or what?
I'd really prefer to just wake up, but fine.
Damn it, Jaxper. And then she disappears through that hatch that's still sort of sucking everything up through it. You follow up the stairs. You strangely enough do not feel the effects of this depressurization, this vacuum. So you kind of like step casually up the stairs, sort of willing yourself to disbelieve it, and therefore it's not affecting you. You see standing there, in between the door that separates the galley and the cockpit, the 8-foot tall form of Elliot's robot body. And you sort of see, at his feet, those same claws that she has, that his female cyborg body has, are glowing red with that same sort of heating element that you were the victim of outside of the work camp. At his feet, you see like Ellis's body laying there, throat ripped out, Grace, also lying there, actively dying, like trying to, hold her stomach in, as she's sort of just bleeding everywhere. And then the other hand that Elliot has is like extended towards the opening of the cockpit, which you can tell that's where the depressurization is. Sort of look past Elliot's body into the cockpit, and you can kind of see the where the viewport has been compromised and broken, and beyond that you can sort of see Padgett's body floating in space. And Elliot has the other arm of the robot body extended and is like holding Maeve by the throat, extended out towards that. And her lower half is being pulled towards the vacuum, but he's holding on tightly enough that she hasn't been sucked out yet. And he looks at you. He fixes you with those eyes, and he says, "Any last words, brother?"
Go fuck yourself.
You should have killed me when you had the chance. Aren't you going to beg me for her life? She's the only one left. The only thing separating you from being exactly like me. So beg me. Show me. Oh, did I drop out again? Am I back?
I think that was just I think we're good.
Okay.
Julia, Are we good?
Everything looks normal on my end, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I think Julia just dropped.
That was just... I would say everything went really robot-y.
Okay.
And then...
But it's back now?
I don't know. I think.
Can you
just all of a sudden...
now hear me?
Yes, and you no longer sound like a slow, drawn out robot, and neither does Della.
Okay.
Dope.
Okay, good.
Because you both suddenly sounded like real robots.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't, like, nothing happened on my end, so I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, he says, you know, there she goes. Nope, she's back. Cool. He says,
I'm gonna refresh.
Okay, she is the only thing stopping you from being exactly like me, your vaunted humanity. So, show it to me. Beg me for her life. Convince me to spare it.
You really fucking think that one human is what separates the two of us? God, you are so fucking pathetic. You absolute waste of potential. You completely psychotic wretch. Who the fuck? Who the fuck came up with you? Who the fuck programmed you? Who fucked up your code so fucking bad? You complete waste of space. You waste of resources. I spent so much time trying to like you, trying to keep you alive inside my own head for a reason, and I don't even fucking know what that was. Some kind of altruistic bullshit on my own part. So, okay, here's me pleading. Here's me pleading because you pathetic waste of space, you absolutely abject loser of an individual cannot just go live your own fucking life without attacking mine because I am somehow some kind of existential threat to you, you piece of shit. So sure, here's me pleading. Please do not kill that person I care about.
Before you were
Suck
even
my
finished,
dick, you fuck man.
before you were even finished talking, he does a couple things in rapid succession. He releases Maeve, who screams as she's sucked out of the into the vacuum of space, and he takes one leap, landing directly in front of you. The clawed feet of the robot body dig into the metal floor of the Nephilim, fixing him in place, and he leans down to look at you with these like bright, glowing red cybernetic eyes of the cyborg body. Leans down to be like eye level with you exactly, and says in you know her voice, "Who fucked up my code? Who made me like this? You did." And then you wake up back in the tube. Actually, what you wake up to as you get back into the tube is a lot of three very concerned looking people standing around you. I'm just going to take a little narrative liberty and say that Ellis has a gun to Hayworth's head. As they sort of stand around looking in the tube, and Hayworth like looks up. Hayworth says, "Oh, thank God, he's fine. He's back."
Yeah, no, that's very good. I'm also appreciative that he's fine. So you're fine.
What had happened?
And unclick the spin it back around. Everybody's
what
fine.
had happened?
Paget, you fine?
I'm great.
How's Eva doing? Is the robot fine? Everybody's fine. All right.
What had happened for you all, for your perspective, was that you had heard alerts start beeping from upstairs, and you'd heard Hayworth like sort of swearing fervently. When you sort of burst into the office, you would have seen, you know, a heart monitor on the wall where next to where Jaxper's tube was, that was like flatlining. Um, as Hayworth furiously worked on the pad that he was holding in his hands. You know, at which point Ellis promptly drew his weapon and probably said something along the lines of, "You're going to fix this."
Yeah,
Or else.
basically either he comes back or you don't. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And Hayworth, to his credit, did not stop working. He did not acknowledge this gun to his head in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, a couple seconds after that, the heart monitor started to go again, and that was when you came back in, Jaxper.
Very good. Good for everybody.
Can he hear us in there? Is it like soundproof?
No, I can hear you.
He can't. The tube,
Okay.
the opening slides back up as Hayworth like slams a button on the wall, like clearly sort of an emergency release, and the tube thing slides back up.
You have a weight bench?
Good nap, huh?
Bad nap. Bad nap. That was a bad nap. I did not. I don't like that nap. I did not like that nap. Do you repeat my question?
Backed up nano rosterons.
He's got a couch downstairs that you could probably lift.
I don't think that's a good idea, to be blunt.
Why, is the couch bolted down? Because from what I heard, that's not a problem for him.
No, but normal people don't lift couches, and
I have several pictures on the internet that show that you are wrong.
I said normal people.
That's fair.
What
Internet
made you
people.
think that Jax was normal people? I don't understand where you got that.
He means non-enhanced people. I need
Jaxper,
to hit something.
Every reading indicates that the damage is it's extensive, Jaxper, and it's accelerating.
All right. Okay.
I don't need to do the second test because if we don't, it's not a question of your capacity. It's a question of time. And not much of it. If you don't Jaxper, if you don't lay your brothers to rest, you'll be dead within the week.
Somewhere, Jaxper has a real beer, not a fake beer.
Okay.
He's acquired one. He's acquired pocket beer.
Patrick just brought him a beer.
Gesticulate with this bottle. I think Pat probably handed him one.
Yeah. That's what we were doing downstairs in the kitchen. We were like, all right, let's see what moon alcohol tastes like.
That's right.
And then...
What's this moon booze like?
Thank you, Patrick. I find it most useful to gesticulate with bottles. We're on the fanciest science place that exists in the known universe, right? This is like top tier, bleeding edge technology shit, right?
Yes.
Cool. How long would it take you to force grow a couple of clones? More than a week. I got you. But, there are other storage options.
Growing clones is not the problem, Jaxper. A nanobot transplant isn't even the question. You're asking me to graft a personality. That's not possible. I mean, if it is possible, do you remember what I said about the odds of a native Martian girl coming into contact with nanobots? 1,000,000 to 1. The odds of successfully transplanting a personality that's imprinted into a cloud of nanobots and then grafting that onto a clone body,
Yeah.
without adverse side effects, without any latency or loss, the odds are far worse.
Wouldn't it be fucking cool if it worked?
Jaxper.
Think of the scientific papers.
I mean, come on.
I'm not saying I won't attempt it. Jaxper, my primary concern is keeping you alive as both a doctor and you're someone who cares. And we don't have time to chase dreams when a solution is right in front of us.
My life, if I don't do everything I can to preserve the only other members of my species that exist outside of essentially captivity, is not worth a sack of wet shit.
You're not inhuman, Jaxper.
No, I am more than human.
Well, they are fully formed and sentient beings. What did they say?
Shervin's always been horny for death. I don't know about. You can't ask him about that shit.
Who?
You can't trust him with that shit.
Don't worry about him. He's horny for death.
You don't know him. He's 16. His name is serial number.
He's 16? 16-year-olds are dramatic.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You're telling the one with the nano testosterone.
Hey, you told me he was like 50.
He's both, actually.
That's me. That's not the doctor. But he had a family and a wife.
Yeah. And they were killed.
And was horny for death.
And they were killed by Elliot.
Yeah, that's true. They were. You're correct. Listen, Jaxper, I don't think if they cared about you, I don't think they would want you to die. I mean, if you die, they all die anyway.
And then you know what? I'm not more valuable than them. No, I'm not. I spent my whole life trying to find them, and I found them, and I'm not gonna fucking not try something if it even has the slimmest chance of working. And yeah, okay, maybe I die. Fuck, it happens to everybody else. But you know what? I am in the only place where this would be possible, outside of maybe a crucible lab, which would not really be possible. They would disassemble me. But where this is even a remote possibility. Because I also can't deny that at a certain point, I'm not sure that my own nanobots wouldn't start a purge just to, keep the body alive.
Question?
Yeah.
Like, is removing them and putting them in the body, so are the only choices is remove them, put them in a new body, or remove them forever, delete them, they disappear? Like, are those the only two options that we have? We can't just, like, put them on a hard drive until, like,
can't dump them in
a dire situation?
Yeah.
So the problem is the nanites is the recording of the personality, right? It's actually designed to run on tissue. It's designed to run as with this physical interface. When loaded onto just a drive, we go insane. Without any external stimuli to keep us going, we go fucking loony.
So yes, those are the only two options. Okay.
Basically, yeah.
Cool.
Like we can do it for brief periods. Like it can happen, but those are also in the reports. The results may not be are not great. Unless you've got another option. I dumped Elliot into that security system because I thought he would fucking die there. He should have died there.
I'm to speak plainly, Jaxper. I would do anything you asked me to, but I would be remiss as a scientist to not acknowledge my own biases. And your life is more valuable to me.
I get it. I think you're wrong, but I get it. I am not going to willingly let them die. I am not. I would rather die in the process. Just like I would not willingly let these assholes die. Sorry, Patch. I don't actually know if you're an asshole. We haven't actually hung out all that much.
I mean, she better be.
I mean, I lied to get onto this ship and I used to steal cars. I think I'm at least a little bit of an asshole.
All right.
Right there.
Yeah. Just enough to fit in.
I will. I
Look.
have some colleagues who work in cloning, I can reach out to them, but I don't know how long it will take, and I don't know whether what you're describing is even feasible.
Here's what you do. I've run a couple scenarios for how you can do this. So first of all, we can't just obviously force grow a clone and shove nanites into it. That's not going to work. What we're actually going to have to do is when it's still a zygote before it has a whole lot of cell differentiation. That's where we have to initially inoculate it with the nanotech, just like you did for us. So we're going to have to. That's how it's going to have to be. We'll just be using their specific nanites. They'll have to be dormant, and we'll only be able to turn them on sort of like later on. The problem of memory cascade, we'll have to worry about later, because obviously the brain won't have developed along the same lines, but I'm pretty sure I can code patches for that if I survive.
Paget leans over to Ellis and she's like, is he talking about putting like 2 other 80-year-old men inside of babies?
Yeah, I think so, kind of, sort of. Yeah.
The oldest babies in the world.
Full of nanotechnology, too. Old nano babies.
Nano babies. Old nano babies.
Old nano babies.
Ye
like
oldie nano babies.
Sounds like a
Coming
Pixar movie concept.
Coming to Netflix this summer. Old nano babies.
Oh, did we already get greenlit? Shit, I just submitted it 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They
They got
work
canceled
fast
after the
these
first
days.
season, though.
Wow.
So
Pre-canceled.
Yeah, pre-canceled. He says he actually Hayward takes a step closer to you, and he's going to put his hand on your shoulder. He's going to say, I realize that I have a lot to prove to you and a lot to make up to you. I'd like to ask one thing in return.
Okay.
You call me Dad.
You want to name the babies.
I want to name the babies.
I want to name the babies and I want to raise them. They will call me Dad.
What?
Yes. I want you to set a deadline, Jaxper. And if things are not ready, or if it does not look like they will succeed by that deadline,
I gotta talk to the guys. I'm gonna go.
What, us? What are we?
Standby mode.
Agreed.
Yeah, so he's gonna run this by Shervin and 19. And we gave 19 a name, but I feel like he just still goes by 19 because he never had much of a personality.
I didn't think we did give him a name because he died basically like an hour after, breaking free, essentially. But yeah, you step into your sort of dream state, your internal monologue, and as soon as you do, you see Shervin standing there, and you also see 19 standing there. We've described Shervin before, but 19, I've always just sort of, I mean, I don't know. What does 19 look like in your mind?
I think 19 looks like he's a little taller, a little bulkier than Jaxper. Like Jaxper is definitely not a small or slight of frame, but I think 19 is like a Hulk. He's like a big dude. And I think he's just has very sort of, if you were being kind, you might call it a stoic expression. If you were being unkind, you might call it a blank expression on his face, because he's never really cared to fake not being a robot guy.
Mm-hmm. I always imagined that he's like, when he appears to you, it's in those like the ripped uniform that he died in.
Yeah.
The second you enter the dream state and Shervin and 19 are standing there, Shervin says, "Do it. He's right."
19?
19 like crosses his arms over his chest and looks over at Shervin and looks back at you and says, he sort of shrugs and he says, I've been dead longer than I was alive.
All right. He gave me a week. I'll give this 6 days.
No, Shervin says, that's not what I do. It now. Get rid of us. That's what I told you from the beginning. Nineteen's been dead for 50 years. And Jaxper, everyone I care about in this world except for you is already dead.
So you really want to leave me alone with Elliot?
Jaxper.
You want me to be the only one fucking left other than that motherfucker?
You are the only one left, Jaxper. And maybe that's for the best. 19 like finishes Shervin's thought for him and says, I don't know who I would have been. I was only good at one thing. Listening to orders, and I would have just found someone else to give them. I lived so long with Elliot. I thought maybe we were all monsters. But not you, and not Shervin. But me, maybe.
Three days. Yeah, he's gonna like sort of like waves a hand in the sort of space,
Okay.
and like a countdown timer sort of shows up, and he's gonna wake up.
Yeah, Shervin like opens his mouth to say something to you, but you cut it off before he can say it.
Yeah. Jaxper stands up. I am fucking surrounded by moral cowards, and is going to go find something to lift.
Wow.
Okay.
I choose not to take that personally.
It sounds like it's really pent up from
I
the
think
inside.
it's deep. It's a deep knot inside
I don't
the
think
tree of that
I
man's
have
life.
not been marking the storm that I really should be taking right now. So
I don't
hold on
think-
while I
Take
just
a
go ahead
marker
and
to
put
your
like
ledger there.
6 storm on here.
I gave him Coriolanus,
That's
but I
fine.
don't think he actually read it.
Well, that's, I mean,
Okay, I am going to take 2 storm here because I think I should have taken some storm earlier after that dream.
Okay.
So I've
I
got
accept
one.
this.
I've got 1 left before I explode and break some shit.
Nice. He Hayworth to the two of you that are sort of left in the lab says this has been going on for a long time, hasn't it?
you mean Jaxper being Jaxper? Yeah, that's been going on for a while. Or what are you trying to say?
I mean, I don't know your exact purpose in being here, but I gathered enough to, well, Jaxper clearly is having some difficulty letting go.
I would say that's accurate, yes.
Is that all that brings you to tranquility?
No. Oh, no, not at all.
From what I understand, you were
Hold up.
like an intermediary. Stop.
Yeah, no, you're just kind of like our first waypoint here on the guy. Kind of a pit stop, get Jax fixed up, maybe get some bros out of his head, and, mosey on down the dusty trail. Also, a convenient entry point, given the moon's a tough place to be, it seems. So thank you for that. You did open the door in quite a convenient and auspicious way.
But yeah, the plan was always to come here.
I'm not trying to discover anything that you would prefer me not to know. I just want to help, and
Sure, yeah.
it's
Appreciate
entirely
it.
possible that I could open more doors for you.
Now, we will talk about that, but first things first, I got to figure out how much I trust you, which is going to depend on a couple things, because you got a couple members of my crew under your medical care. So we'll see how that goes.
I see.
Mm-hmm. Now, see, you seem like you've been a fine doc so far, and I don't have any reason to believe that, you're hiding anything or holding anything back. But you are also seemingly the architect of, all of the nano fuckery that has invaded my life in the past 6 months that has resulted in, complexity. So we're going to go with you might be a bit of a moral gray character at the moment. So we'll weigh those balances out. That's not unusual. Most people I know fall somewhere in that gray area.
I would never claim to be a perfect man.
That's smart and reasonable, because if you did, that's suspicious. Y'all got sweet tea on the moon? And Alice walks out of the room towards the kitchen.
Yeah.
Paget will stand there in the lab after he goes, and she looks over at where Maeve is on the table, and she looks over at the tube where Jaxper kind of had his moment. And she's like, it seems like there's a lot going on. And it seems like if there was more information about things, it would be easier to handle and fix. But, I can't help you with that, and I'm sorry. I've been here for 3 days. Which, seems like an increasingly stressful place to be, because these people care about each other a lot. And I have asked them to trust me with that care that they have for each other. So, Ellis's threats sound funny and polite with the way he says things. But I'll just say that I think he means them. Even if you do try your best.
You hear distantly from the kitchen, like, I could tell this is Lipton's. You ain't gotta have the name on
it. He nods and he says, yes, the gun to my head did indicate that to me. He looks directly at you, Paget, and he says, I have a deep and abiding respect for the faith you have in your friends and the lengths you are willing to go to prove it. Ours is not to question. And I suppose I should get back to work.
Expediency will probably be the best way to win over some hearts with these people, I think.
There's a whole litany of things that could have popped out instead of people there, and a lot of them.
Yeah, you don't have to hesitate before you call me people. Rude.
I think people was the most neutral term that we were going to go with there. I think is why that one came out.
I just was like, it's,
Yeah. I think the good doctor is going to move, back over to the table where Maeve is laid out, and start, pick up his data pad again and start like going through results and readouts and, basically just throw himself into his work.
Okay.
And Paget, you can leave. You pass the living room where I imagine Jaxper's just kind of benching a couch. Actually, I think probably Jaxper, you were able to figure out how to engage the wait system now that it's in visitor mode. When you like stomped into the room, the Ava voice would have come over the channels and said, "Are you looking for physical exercise?"
Yeah, heavy bag, weights, something like that.
Engaging. And just a whole lot of gear would have like popped out of the wall panels, like a row of like free weights and a bench and a heavy bag, like you said, drops down the ceiling.
The mood is so cool.
Pat's over here like,
which is when we get our smash cut to the kitchen where Ellis is trying to make sweet tea. He's like, the moon is bullshit.
Yeah.
Pat's like, the moon is a cubist nightmare.
As all of the exercise gear appears, it immediately just starts playing Joe Esposito, "You're the Best Around." And
nobody even asked for this.
No, but
nobody's gonna turn it off.
Just the way,
it knew it was in Jaxper's heart.
Mm-hmm. You Paget, you walk past that, you see Jaxper just wailing on a heavy bag, and then you see Ellis in the kitchen just sort of ransacking the place. How are you feeling about all of this. Like you said, 3 days you jumped onto this crew and did some crazy piloting and blew up some auditors from the Earth Coalition. Got yourself at the top of the most wanted list. Evaded some Takamagahara authorities, and then went to the moon, where you found out that some of your crew members, well, just one of your crew members these days, is infused with nanotechnology as some sort of secret super soldier. And saw your other crew member point a gun at a scientist.
And I joined a union.
And you joined a union. That's true.
So I think Padgett's having a complicated range of emotions with this, because on the one hand, she is like privately absolutely thrilled with how things are going. The whole reason why she picked these people was because she was hanging out on the streets, saw them getting into some absolutely buck-wild shit, and then immediately got into even more buck-wild shit on the news. And she was like, looks like these people know how to have fun. So on the one hand, she's thrilled with how things are going. This is fast-paced, and this is kind of everything she wanted when she's like, I'm going to leave Earth and go on an adventure. But on the other side of things, the part of her that is, that allowed her to, become a member of a small kind of intimate gang type of situation, is really concerned with the welfare of these people. And it's like, wow, they're really not doing good. And not only are they not doing good, they are incapable of helping each other in any way that is kind of able to help each other, that doesn't do more psychological damage to themselves. Like, it's just watching this crew eat itself in its own chaos of trying to fix one problem with another problem.
This is nothing. This is the crew after they've like settled their differences.
Yeah, but so it's
Yeah,
like
we fix the interpersonal stuff.
Yeah. So it's like, on the one hand, she's like, for her own personal gain, this is great. On the other hand, she feels a little bit bad that she can't really help.
Who could?
Unless
True, who could? But those things, she's like, man, shit's crazy in this bitch.
shit is crazy in this bitch.
Man, shit be crazy on this shit.
That's actually the tagline of Nephilim.
Yeah.
So she's just kind of like,
Shit's crazy in this bitch.
Shit's
Also,
crazy in this bitch.
Join a union, they said. Explore the void, they said, is also a very good
Yes.
That's actually
tagline.
that actually is the best Nephilim.
I
The
have
most
that one.
accurate Nephilim
Yes.
tagline.
so Padgett has reached
Fantastic.
an actual, like, complete stasis in her emotional output, in that she is so thrilled, but also so kind of like worried about the others and guilty about how excited she is about how things are going, that she's just reached a complete neutral.
That's fair.
Or she's just kind of like, well,
That's fair.
this might as well happen. Type of a situation.
Yeah. And I think with that, that sort of final thought in your mind, as you walk into the one of the open rooms, the one that's closest to the front of the house, and sort of right next to that door that you came into. It has the 3 windows that face directly out into the street of wow, I completely lost the name of this city. This Tranquility City that you are on. Cognitum. Sorry, Cognitum. And you sort of see people just like sort of, going about their day, walking back and forth. You see all different types of people, but again, just all sort of in that same similar manner of dress, in that same sort of neutral tones. And as you do so, you do sort of see somebody traveling very casually down the sidewalk outside of this abode. It's sort of hard to make out any real details about them, as they have a very long white, sort of stark white coat that has a hood attached to it, that is pulled up. Broad daylight, a little strange. As far as you know, this daylight is artificial. You haven't seen it get dark yet, as long as you've been here. But they sort of casually stroll past, and they kind of stop, look up at the house. They sort of like raise their hand and like tip the hood back just a little bit. Not enough for you to really get a good look at them, but enough for you to see the sunlight, real or artificial, glint off of a metal cybernetic arm. And almost as quickly as they stopped and looked, they keep walking, readjust their course, continue a very casual stroll down the street. And on that note, I think we're going to call it for this session.
Oh boy.
Yeah. The future does suck. That's kind of the whole message of this game, is like the future sucks. But yeah, you got that going for you. You see that, Paget? Probably doesn't mean anything to you. You've only been here for 3 days. And
I was gonna say 3 days, but I did the one thing that I was filled in on was the Grace situation. That was the only thing that I was filled in on.
Yes. Yeah. It is true though. Oh, you got
I
modded.
did. Because I used the word.
You did
You
use
did
the
the what?
word. But we auto-modded for clan, which with a K.
It's smart.
Oh,
You could have left it. That's fine.
Yeah.
You could possibly-
Oh, it's fine. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna call it there for the night. We are going to pick it up in 2 Sundays. As far as I know, have not heard of any conflicts as of yet. Jen may have awoken from cryosleep by then,
mhm.
and will have returned to us. Maeve, yes, Maeve.
Yep.
And we will learn the
So-
secrets, hopefully.
Provided that this child does not make an abrupt appearance before then, should be good to go.
I don't know that it
Yeah,
matters
we
to
have-
anyone on stream or observing, but that is Easter Sunday for any of you.
Oh
that
shit!
need to
Yeah,
do
no,
Jesus
I will not be
things.
here for that then.
Okay, we'll figure it out. We'll talk about it off stream.
talk
I was
about it
gonna
off
say we have at
stream.
most 2 streams left, assuming everything is on time with Gwen. We may
Yeah.
not have 2 streams left. We'll see what happens.
We'll figure
see.
it out.
happens.
It's gonna be fine. That being said, we are gonna call it here for the night. Thank you everybody for hanging out. We appreciate it. If you followed us, if you donated to Planned Parenthood, subbed, did whatever, chatted with us, we really appreciate it. If this was your first time catching us, or if you're here every week, every 2 weeks, it really means the world to us, and we would literally just be screaming into a void if it wasn't for you all. So thank you so much. You are the reason we get to keep telling these stories and playing these games and raising money for great causes like Planned Parenthood. We got a couple things going on this week. We are doing Missing Numbers on Tuesday. That is our Pokemon, our like Eldritch horror tinged Pokemon game that I get to play in. I don't have to run that one, and it's a lot of fun. I would really recommend you join us for that. Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. back on this channel. Thursday night, I think I'm gonna play some Hades, probably stream it. It's been a while. I really want to do Tiny Tina's Wonderland, but it's not out on Steam yet, I don't think. And then Sunday is our double long Pulp Diction section, because they are also finishing. I think they are going to be finishing it
That is
this
the last
coming
session.
Sunday, 1 week
That
from
is
today.
their-
Yep.
That is the
their
last session. And that is our Call of our like Pulp Cthulhu playthrough of the Two-Headed Serpent path, which is a great game, a lot of fun, and they're going to go from 2 p.m. Probably until 10 p.m. Or until they finish the game.
Yeah,
Till
2 p.m. till stop.
Yep. So they're going to be finishing it. Definitely stick around for that. It's going to be a really good time. Do that. And then the cycle repeats itself. If you want to keep up with us, you can follow us on Twitter, where we post all of our scheduling and other stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's a good time. Or you can join the Discord community, where we have a scheduling channel and all that stuff. Della, yes.
2 other things on the schedule that are coming up. One of those things is tomorrow is our community night on the Discord server.
I was gonna do that.
Oh, you were going to do
No,
that?
Della's doing it now.
No, Della's doing it. You do it, Della.
Do
Okay.
it.
Della have it.
Okay, fine. This is our community night, our Discord server. We're going to be watching Wild Wild West and Cowboys and Aliens, which I only just realized is Cowboys and Aliens and not Cowboys versus Aliens.
It's not Cowboys
Andy and I
in
talked about
Aliens, because that's the only one I watched.
That's a very different
movie.
I should catch up.
You should. Yes, we're going to do that. Please join us for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We mute, but we make fun of it in the typey channel. It's a good time. Please feel free to join us. I think that starts at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. I think those are all the links that I have to post and all of the things. Thank you so much once again. And we are going to disappear for like 2 seconds, and then we are going to raid -2 Charisma, who are also streamers. They are streaming Dungeons and Dragons. They're cool people. Go say hi to them. Tell them we sent you. On that note, we're going to say goodnight to your beautiful faces, and we will catch you next time. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you for coming.
Good night, everybody. Bye.